What's up, my dudes? It's the Vigorous Q&A yet again. Now, I don't think there's going to be too many people here today because, well, it's the classic physique Mr. Olympia prejudging, so I guess everybody's going to be watching that. In the meantime, for the 15 people, 20 people that are here right now, please let me know if my audio sounds good. Then we can get started. It's been a crazy week. With the Mr. Olympia, obviously. Anabolic pharmacist got his website wiped, but he's back now. And then Chase Iron got his YouTube channel wiped, and he's not back yet. But we're working behind the scenes to get him back as soon as possible. And otherwise, you might have to restart a channel under somebody else's name and just keep the content flowing. So let's see, guys. Let me know. Audio's great. Okay, perfect. Let's get started then. First things first, disclaimer, so we can talk about drugs afterwards. Oh man, look at that beautiful background. I didn't have time to do the lights here yet. So again, it's been a very busy week, modifying motorbikes and going to the gym and stuff and taking care of my daughter. For the guys that are wondering why I'm not at the Mr. Olympia, I had a daughter a couple months ago, about 3.5 months ago, and I don't want to miss it. So I'm here at home stuck being a full-time daddy, and that's actually way more enjoyable to me than watching a bunch of old up dudes flex and grunt and pose and do all of that stuff. So maybe next year we'll come back to the Mr. Olympia after the novelty of being a girl daddy wears off. All right, we got some super chats, so let's get right into it. Functional fatness asks, hello Steve, 53-year-old male, 272 pounds, down from 344. Oh, wow, good job. That's almost 70 pounds down. Nice work. Train 5 days a week, daily fasted cardio, considering TRT once I'm sub 250 pounds. And then the next one, with a starting dose of approximately 100 milligrams per week spread across Monday, Wednesday, Friday, plus HCG Tuesday, Thursday. Risk problems with aromatization. I'm still close to 20% body fat when I start. Yes, and I would do a little bit more testosterone based on your body weight because even at 250 pounds, 100 milligrams testosterone is not really going to cut it. So what I would do is 50 milligrams testosterone enanthate or cypionate, whatever ester you prefer, SubQ for stable levels, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then in between those testosterone injections, I would do 250 IUs HCG Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So you have at least the sustain of testicular function. You don't need to kickstart it again because obviously you come from a natty state where LH and FSH levels are somewhat intact, assuming, right? Do your blood work before you get started. And then all you need to do is sustain it. So you don't need to jump to 500 IUs or 1,000 IUs. Maybe later on, after a couple of years of juicing or TRTing, you might need a little bit higher dose of HCG. But I think it's perfectly fine to start with 50 milligrams testosterone, enanthate or cypionate or propionate if you prefer that. 3 times a week with 250 IUs HCG, 3 times per week, all done SubQ. And then 4 weeks into it, check your serum estradiol levels to see how much of an aromatization you need. I don't think you'll need an aromatase inhibitor the first 4 weeks, but it will be good to kind of see where your serum estradiol levels are at without the use of an aromatase inhibitor. And then later on, yeah, it's very likely based on your body fat levels and just getting started and well, 150 tests and HCG require an aromatase inhibitor. This body fat levels just by themselves, so in combination, it's very likely that you need some aromasin, and then you might need 6.25 milligrams of aromasin 3 times per week on your Monday, Wednesday, Friday testosterone injection days, or maybe 12.5 milligrams, but we don't know. It's hard to predict. It's hard to predict how much estrogen you're going to produce from the testosterone and the HCG. So do your blood work 4 weeks into this protocol, and then take it from there. And otherwise, just come back with your blood work results, and we'll let you know here on the Vigorous Q&A. How many lines of tren should I do for an 8-hour arm workout? I need to get my Broly on. Do you ever see the new Broly film? No, I haven't looked into any anime as of recently, but maybe I should. Yeah, I'm on 600 tests, 600 deca, and a boatload of Anadrol, so I'm getting my Broly on too, bro. I mean, look at these fucking veins. You know, I just need to grow my hair back so I can go Super Saiyan 1.5. Broly was Super Saiyan 1, not 2, but he was like 1.5 or something like that. He was juiced to the gills. So how many lines of tren for that? I would say 150 milligrams per day. Broly, based on the 2 movies that I saw from the old Dragon Ball Z, Broly was on all the tren. So a gram of tren per week. And some fucking halotestin, you know, and they become unreasonably angry at everything, even your own peers. Steve, K-pop Demon Hunter seems to be the only film worth seeing in a few months, or have you seen anything good? A new film? No, I saw Tron Legacy a couple days ago in preparation of Tron Ares, and apparently Tron Ares sucks balls. So I already have tickets, so still going to have to watch it. I didn't watch K-pop Demon Hunters yet, but I should. I'm sure my wife would enjoy that too. So I can't remember, man. I can't remember which movie actually was good. Which the vampire movie was good with man. I'm gonna have to Google it. Vampire movies 2024. Nosferatu was fun. It was a little bit over the top, and where's is it 2025? Sinners I liked. Yeah, Sinners I liked a lot. That was a good movie. And that's about it, man. I only watch old movies because I'm over 40 years old, so I hold on to the past. I cling on for dear life, and I reject the new stuff. Amanda Hilleman, welcome to the Vigorous crew. All right. Looking good, sounding good. All right. Chase did nothing wrong. Well, I mean, Chase probably got first, so it's weird. Me and Chase, we both got our link trees destroyed for promoting omega aminos. So first our link tree was gone, and then the next day Chase was wiped, or maybe a couple hours later. So I think it's either somebody that doesn't like omega aminos, some competitor, or a customer that had a bad experience, or because it's on two platforms. Right? Linktree first. Linktree is in no way, in any way, shape, or form associated with YouTube, and then they wiped his channel. Now Chase was promoting, pretty hard at the beginning of the videos. That's risky. And then I think the last video he did was about how to do injections. That's also very risky. So maybe the people that, the competitors or disgruntled former customers use that as an opportunity to report him. And then he appealed and it was rejected. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't get him back, but, we'll leave that for the guys behind the scenes. So give it some time. And, the YouTube is not about freedom of speech, bro. I'm so honestly surprised my YouTube channel came back, and it's always in the back of my head. It's Steve, you could lose your channel any day. And that's why we are heavy into crypto. And that's now the main source of income, even though I haven't really cashed out yet. We'll do that at the end of the year. So, yeah, it's I really hope that he can get his YouTube channel back and then keep pushing out, because he was at over 70,000 subscribers, so he was doing really well. And the daily content is always highly appreciated. A lot of questions were getting answered by Chase. Just kind of picking up the pace where I'm slacking super, super hard. So yeah, I hope he can get the channel back, and fingers crossed, right? Cross all the fingers, including the toes. Crossing those two. You guys back home as well, and then with a couple days, Chase is back in the mix, and then we can all continue with the YouTube journey, happy together. All right, let's see. Buddy to Zoo, Steve, sat around here at the Olympia. I did run into Aaron a couple times, which is the next best thing. Yeah, Aaron is there having a boatload of fun, obviously. I'll try to come next year. But, with the way things are going, I would like to go to the Arnold. I haven't been there yet. But let's see. Jadzia is now 3 months old. And then that means basically sometime in May or June, my wife would be pregnant. So, no, that's fine. Yeah. So next year, October, I could come. And it's going to change locations. So that makes it more exciting. I think it's still in Vegas, but some other hotel. But they'll announce that a little bit later today, I believe. Probably during finals. So that's, 12 hours from now, give or take. So I might go to the Olympia next year. Then Jadzia is about 1 year old, or 1 year and 3 months. But now it's too new, too fresh. I don't want to miss a day, man. I don't want to miss a day. Today we had a lot of fun making goo goo gaga noises and laughing all the way to the bank, and watching her roll around, which is weird. She started rolling at 2.5 months old, so she's been rolling for the last month. And now you have to watch her all the time, because as soon as you put her on the floor, she rolls. Yeah, do a barrel roll. She's like at the other side of the room. So, having a lot of fun. Wigmont, has Bio Bros ended? Yeah. Any more podcasts with Derek? No, I don't think so. Derek is basically retired. And I asked a couple times and he's just too busy. So he does one video in a blue moon. And if it's an interesting topic, and that's enough to keep his channel afloat. And he's living off the residual views, as I'm living off the residual views. I mean, I barely make any content, and I still get like 4.5 G's worth of revenue. So it's not the end of the world. Imagine how much revenue he's making. So at one point, you're just kind of tired with your YouTube journey, and I'm going through a little bit of a slump right now. No, what kind of fucking gesture was that? I'm going through a slump right now. But at one point I'll be back when the cryptocurrency market comes down and I'm done modifying my motorbikes. And again, the novelty of having a daughter wears off. So, no, Derek is playing with the big names now. I'm not big enough, but we still talk frequently and he's doing very well. So maybe at one point we'll do a reunion, but that it will be with Alec Petrevsky, not Leo, obviously, because he passed away. So he cannot make it to another Bio Bros episode. First time ever on Primo, 250 milligrams per week with 350 milligrams testosterone ethate. Loving it, worth the extra cash. 2 months in, physique looked better quality when you lean considering low dose. So and just make sure that your Primo is real Primo, because all the sources that I know, they say that they can't get it anywhere. So I hope it's an old batch. Like I have some homebrew Primo from like 3 years ago. And I still have Primo before the droughts. And then somebody donated me Bayer Testified, or Bayer Primobolans, but 30-something Ampoules. So I have a boatload of Primo laying around. But right now I'm just getting lean on Test Deca and Anadrol. And it's working quite well. I mean, my face is... You'd think my face would be a water balloon, but it's not. Just cannons are fucking jacked. But I'm strong as fuck. That's why I'm sleepy as fuck also. By the way, is the bull market over? I know. After this dump, it has to rally quite hard. I got liquidated and I bought back in, so I made maybe 5% of my holdings. But it's starting to get a little bit tedious. I'm not going to lie, man. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, 20 billion wiped in a few hours. Thank you, Trump. Nice work. Trump and China at it again. Tariff wars. So, buy the dip. All right? Buy the dip. We're going to try to make it to the Arnold as well. Yeah, I hope to make it there. I'll announce it when I buy some tickets. I'm kind of slowly seeing what next year is going to look like. And then, and then we'll make some plans. David, Steve, some influencers are claiming that high hematocrit is safe because people living at high altitudes have hematocrit and don't get clots. Thoughts? Yeah, assuming that you stay hydrated and that your platelets are in range, right? We don't only look at hematocrit, we look at red blood cell count as well, and we look at your blood pressure, and we look at your platelets, and we look at your hydration level. So if you're sufficiently hydrated and your hematocrit is 56 and your platelets are normal, it's probably okay, assuming you don't have, a calcium score that's over 0. Because if you have a high calcium score and you do get a little bit of a clot, from platelet aggregation or platelet and red blood cell aggregation, then with this CAC score of non-zero, so that's 5, 10, 400, whatever, your arteries might be narrower than normal. And if you don't manage your blood pressure, then your arteries are narrow also. And if that gets lodged, you might get a heart attack or an aneurysm. So again, we have to look at the total picture. You can't make a blanket remark that, hematocrit is 56, but you live at high altitude, you're safe. Nuh-uh. That's how you die. Nuh-uh. That's not the password. Was that Jurassic Park, the first one? Nuh-uh. So, again, look at the total picture. Personally, I don't have a problem with having an hematocrit of 54, 55% because I'm always hydrated. I've done my CAC score analysis, 0. I have my blood pressure medication in place when I cycle my brains out. And even now on, Test Deca and Anadrol, my hematocrit is not that high. So maybe that's because of the methylene blue kind of keeping that together, or maybe it's the tolbosartan kind of keeping that in range. So again, you have to look at the total picture. Don't just look at a number and say, yeah, I'm fine because I live at a high altitude. Shit happens. And you have to do the full Monty of analysis. And then it's good. Another YouTube member. Welcome to the Vigorous crew. What's my weekly IV protocol? Well, right now I'm not doing any IV anymore because Modern Aminos has injectable NAD+. And before they didn't have that. So I got that from a local compounding pharmacy here in Thailand. Was Infi NAD+, I think, 200 milligrams per vial. It was mad expensive. And that came frozen. And then I would ask one of my private nurses. I went through like 7 of them. Sometimes they don't want to come or it's not worth their money or whatever. Private service is annoying. And I didn't want to wear the nurse outfit. So, on to the next one. Just came in the baggy clothes is boring, man. I mean, if I'm going to pay for service, at least wear the fucking attire. No, I'm joking. But I would do IV. One of the nurses would come here, 200 milligrams NAD+, 1,800 milligrams glutathione, and then 5,000 milligrams vitamin C, and a B100 complex. Put that all together, and then once in a while I would flush it all down first with Cerebrolysin, and then the vitamins would come in. So I'd maybe do 10 milliliters Cerebrolysin IV at around the same time before, usually. But now I don't do anything IV. Yeah, I'm kind of boring because I just do my NAD+ SubQ and my glutathione shots intramuscularly 3 times a week. And the high-dose vitamin C, honestly, I didn't really notice a difference much. And now I'm on methylene blue, which is a much better antioxidant than vitamin C. And the B100 complex, well, I get a little bit of B12 from one of the injectable pre-workouts. And B50 complex morning and evening keeps all my B vitamins in a normal level. So I don't do any IV protocols anymore, but it was fun while it lasted. I got the track marks to prove it. I see Joshua always comes here with the memes. He knows. It was you didn't say the magic word. Dennis Nedry. Man, he met his demise, one of those not a velociraptor. It was one of those raptors with the crown. All right? So, fuck, what a movie, dude. So imagine if you still remember, like me and Joshua, we still remember the one-liners from Jurassic Park. And then I watched Jurassic World, and it was so forgettable, I fell asleep. While watching it, like Jurassic World 3 or something. So bad. So bad. Hey, Vader Steve, is it okay to ask, any idea what happened to the retailers in China? Yeah, they're under pressure, so they can't produce Mastodon or Primo. The ones that are producing they're really risking their stuff. So there's several, from what I understand, there's several chemists in the US right now producing Mastodon and Primo Raws, and they're supplying a couple of their friends, so they can actually get all the raw ingredients and they know how to produce it from scratch basically. But in China, yeah, some ingredients or some raws cannot be produced because they use the same chemical precursors as something like fentanyl, for example, and that's the death penalty right now. So, yeah, you're going to have to patiently wait or switch to test Deca or test an EQ, which is not the end of the world. And again, all the scientific evidence that shows that EQ is terrible for your kidneys has not been reproduced in Mastodon, in Primobolan, in Trembolone, in human subjects or animal models. So you can say that EQ is terrible for your kidneys. Look at the scientific evidence. But yes, you stupid motherfucker, you terrible shitfluencer that is evidence-based. Absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence. It simply means that those kidney studies in animals and humans have not been performed on the other steroids. So, doesn't mean that they're not kidney toxic. Doesn't mean you don't have to take antioxidants when you megadose the Mastodon or the Primobolan or the Trembolone or whatever, right? I think you should hammer the antioxidants quite high. And then they say, yeah, but the antioxidants prevents, hypertrophy. It blunts the post-exercise stress response. Do I look like a little bitch to you? The guys who complain about that, they're the little bitches. The evidence-based little bitches. I can't take vitamin C post-workout. I'm going to shrink. exhausting. So run whatever you whatever you have access to. That's what I'm doing. Whatever I can get, I run. And when it runs out, I run something else. And you know what? I let the diet do the work and the cardio do the work. And I get in shape just as shame, man. My lower back is in. My glutes are starting to feather. I have good separation in my quads. And I'm strong as an ox because the deck and the Anadrol keeps me going. Okay, man, watery at the end of the day, sure. But who cares? I'm already married. I'm off the market. I'm not a social media, pretty boy. I'm an educator. So, all right. That was enough ranting. Oh, yeah, here, Paul. Nurses are the profession most likely to cheat on their significant other. Yeah, I read about that as well. So I always go to the hospital to do my blood work. It's not just for blood work, bro. SD, with SLU, I've been noticing very nice response running 6 milligram injectable a day. Where would you suggest there might be diminishing returns? As I recently sourced 20 grams raw, so might titrate up. I mean, I'm running 400 milligrams a week or a day, and I don't notice any diminishing returns. I haven't increased it to 500 or 800 milligrams, but 400 milligrams seems to be going quite well, quite sustainable. I mean, it does flatten you out quite fast, so I had to increase my carbohydrate intake. And but the energy in the gym is unmatched, dude. It's unmatched. It's nonstop. It has a little bit of a nootropic benefit. So the mitochondrial upregulation, especially in combination with MOTS-C, SS31, methylene blue, and ubiquinol, and everything else that I'm doing, and the copious amounts of antioxidants that I'm on, it's it's a big difference. It's a big difference. Yeah, but you also sweat quite a bit, So you see that some sweat is starting to form on my forehead. And but I'm excited doing this Vigorous Q&A. So diminishing returns, I haven't seen it yet, and I think nobody really needs to go over 400 milligrams per day, assuming that you're a 225-pound bodybuilder. I'm 230 pounds. Thank you very much. Personally, I would not do injectable SLU because it seems that it doesn't really dissolve in water, and it doesn't really dissolve in MCT oil, from what I understand. So people are mixing it with DMSO, and I would not inject that, for the life of me. So I would just run oral, man. The oral bioavailability is pretty good. It just has a short half-life. So whether you inject it or take it orally, you need to dose it like 4 times per day. So I take 100 milligrams 4 times per day, and I'm wired all day and, burning body fat all day. And, 400 milligrams SLU per day makes losing body fat very, very easy and gaining body fat very, very hard. And that's how I like it. So a couple more weeks, I'll do some blood work. And then let's see if my kidneys are melting and my C-reactive protein is sky high. But I don't think so. Bob's old teeth. Nice. Testosterone recipient and cottonseed oil makes me inflamed. Is there any real testosterone and castor oil online anymore? Well, I have a source list for that, so you might have to check there. But I don't keep track of the stock. So keep your eye on the source list on my website. Maybe it can point you in the right direction. And otherwise, fly to Thailand, man. We sell that shit in the pharmacy. I have copious amounts of bear testosterone in my cupboard. And Primobolan. You guys want to see? Now we're downstairs at the office, so I can show you. There. It's like the last... in a plastic bag. Well, at least it's not in a brown bag. Here. Look at this shit. Well, yeah, there you go. Beautiful Primobolan abs with the thick oil that doesn't go down. Ooh, I got a whole bag. Thanks, bro. Get a whole bag of that stuff. So look harder, man. But my website sends you in the right direction of that stuff. So bookmark that site. VigorousSteve.com. Dildoposaurus? Dilophosaurus? Dilophosaurus? That's such a pretty animal. And you have that, what is it called? Speckled... lizard? Is that a speckled... Tenerife speckled lizard? Is that the one? No. Anyway, there's some sort of dragon. Google is not what it used to be, man. Anyway, there's some little dragon out there that... frilled neck lizard. That's the one. Not a speckled. Frilled neck lizard. Yeah, it kind of looks like that Dilophosaurus. Or Dilophosaurus. Anyway, let's get back to the drug questions. Bro tip, Bayer Primobolan still available in Spain, 12 to 13 euros per ampule. So yeah, bro. Hey, Bob's old teeth. Go to Spain, go to Thailand, stock up, and then fly to a steroid-friendly country. Maybe fly to Spain first, stock up on some Primobolan. Contact me. If you're willing to play mule, you can make some profit, bro. But contact me privately on Instagram. And then, or maybe we could do like, the ampule exchange. You bring on 100 Primobolans, and I'll give you like 300 Bayer testivirons. I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, no, this might not be fair. I might need 400 Primobolans, and that'll take you to a nice titty bar to, so you can take away all the stress. The bear beer. All right, is there a question attached to that? I don't see it. I'll keep my eye open. One of my eyes. All right, next one. Amanda, hey Steve, new to the Vigorous crew, what compounds do you recommend for women? I watched your video of yours about it was 4 years old, so your opinion is the same. Thanks. No, so the opinion of that video is pretty much the same, but I would look into the mitochondrial stuff. So, to start hormone-wise, DHA, pregnenolone, and maybe Anavar if you're developed enough and you want to build a little bit more muscle. Growth hormone works well with women. Clenbuterol works well with women. It has a little bit of anabolic properties, assuming that you ramp up the dose. At 20 micrograms, clenbuterol, don't expect too much, but 40 to 80 micrograms clenbuterol, especially in combination DHA, pregnenolone, perhaps low-dose Anavar, and growth hormone, assuming it's all legit. It's a very potent anabolic stack for fat loss and muscle tissue building at the same time. And then the rest, the fat loss and the energy levels and the mitochondrial upregulation can come from mitochondrial stack. SLU, MOTC, SS31, methylene blue, right? It's the same for men and women. So in that sense, and then it can be a little bit lower dose, obviously, because women, generally speaking, unless you're a porky, are a lighter body weight. So if you're 50, 60, maybe 65 muscular hottie, 70 kilos, then instead of 10 milligrams methylene blue, you run 5. And instead of 1 milligram MOTC, you run half. And instead of 1 to 2 milligrams SS31, you run or half to 1 milligram, right? So low dose goes a very long way. And again, a combination of several compounds for women, very, very, very beneficial. Yeah, and then, of course, if you're in DHA and pregnenolone and Anavar, then you want to run a low dose to the point that you don't lose your period. Because as soon as you start ramping up the dose or you die too hard, then you lose your period. And that's not, that's not what the reproductive tract is meant for. Thoughts on test phenylpropionate for a cycle. If you do daily injections, it's fine. Test propionate, phenylpropionate, cypionate, enantate, decanoate, andesylnate. There's testosterone and andesylnate? Is there? Not sure. It's all fine. Just have to inject frequently for stable levels. But it's fine, man. It's fine. With phenylpropionate, you might have lower serum levels because it's a circular structure, right? Similar to cypionate. And, it might have a little bit of difficulty cleaving off the ester. So I prefer enantate or propionate. Propionate or enantate, because it just has to cleave off one carbon atom at a time, and then it becomes metabolically active. But phenylpropionate and cypionate, let me just confirm that. Yeah, it has a cyclical structure in the ester. And the same as hexahydrobenzocarbonate in trembolone. There's a cyclical structure, and that might make it difficult to metabolize in the carboxyl esterases or the other esterases which metabolize the esters away. So give it a try, and then switch to propionate or enantate and see if you get better results for the same milligram dose. if your body can't overcome antioxidants to grow muscle, you don't deserve gains. Yeah, I agree. Avoiding antioxidants is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Hello, coach. I'm going to cut and have 7 kilos to lose. I've gyno surgery in 4 weeks, so I will still need to lose weight after it. Would you advise being in a deficit while I can't train post-surgery, or will that cause muscle loss? You will have muscle loss because you can't train, not just because you're in a caloric deficit. And you need the calories to recover. So it took me about 4 weeks to recover from gyno surgery. So I would just keep dieting until the gyno surgery, then take 3 to 4 weeks off from the gym, maybe eat the same amount of food, but because you don't go to the gym, you automatically negate the caloric deficit because you have less calories to spend. And then you use all those calories for the recovery of your gyno surgery with the stack that I always mention in all the videos, right? And otherwise, watch the gyno video where I discussed the entire stack and how to recover from gyno surgery and other kinds of surgeries. TB500, BBC157, GHK copper, Anavar, growth hormone or MK677, and the collagen peptides, hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, and a good amount of calories to recover. And then you're like me, you recover in 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's just you baby it as you go back to the gym, So doing like chest supported rows feels a little bit bad, but doing chest workout felt fine after 3 weeks of, after the surgery. And I also had liposuction, which now is finally starting to look very nice. Well, I'll take some pictures at one point. For real, dating apps are full of nurses. Hey, time to subscribe again. I never used the fucking dating app, man. I met my wife in the gym, like a good boy. And then I let that develop and cultivate. And then once I started coaching her, she didn't want to pay the coaching fee anymore. Then I made her pay the rent another way. Coming off everything for fertility protocol with HCG and HMG, would SLU be helpful for this phase and compound fat gain energy levels? So there's no scientific evidence if SLU is good or bad for fertility. So I would avoid it. That's what I did. I avoided everything that did not have clear scientific evidence that it's beneficial or not harmful for fertility. Now, that meant I was doing HCG, FSH, Increlex. It's actually good. Had some scientific evidence that it's good for fertility, or at least sustained IGF-1 levels. And same said for growth hormone. So that's the 4 peptides that I ran throughout the entire protocol. And then when my wife got pregnant and we had, a couple spare embryos, then I was right back on the source, running everything under the sun. So I would personally, if I had to do it again, back then we didn't have SLU, I didn't run MUT-C, I didn't run SS31, I didn't run methylene blue, because there's no clear scientific evidence that it's beneficial or not harmful for fertility, and thus I didn't run it. That's the responsible way to do. Steve's bag of treasure ampules, yeah. And my drug cabinet is, every time I try to clear my drug cabinet, right? And then Belly Gus sends me some stuff, and Modern Amino sends me some stuff. And then I'm like, you know what? I want to have some injectable pre-workouts from Somachems. So they send me some stuff. I'm trying to kick my drug habit, but I can't. And Ever Sam. Okay, I'll finish the injectable. It's from a new peptide supplier. It's inject very smooth, no side injections at all, 4 times a day frequency. But yeah, I might swap to 50 milligrams 4 times per day oral instead. Big fan. Yeah, so get yourself one of those microgram scales. And I'll show you mine if you show me yours. So you get one of these. All right, that's SLU, leftover SLU. And then... you turn it, like, obviously I can't. This one. All right, and then you put your SLU in there, and then you measure it. I have to keep it straight. It's a microgram scale, so it's not going to do anything if it's... Yeah, there you go. All right. And then you measure it, and then it goes straight down the hatch, and I swirl it away with water. And then 15 minutes later, I'm buzzing. So... Again, if you can take it orally, why would you? Man, I'm already doing so many daily injections. I'm sick of that shit. MOT-C twice per day, SS31 twice per day, retinoid once a day, steroids once a day, Pre-work injectable. I do like 10 injections a day, man. If I can avoid another 4 injections, I'm all for it. Miniature pineapples. Curious, what are the prices like at the Thai pharmacies? I have no idea because I don't pay for gear. So I sent so many customers to my favorite pharmacist. And for the people in Thailand, they know Om is our favorite pharmacist. Om and Mon. If you know, you know. They're like lifesavers here. They send all over Thailand. Yeah, I get my shit for free, or I get it for a huge discount. Because I put so much money in their pocket, they were able to buy like 27 cars or something. So not that they do that, but I sent so many people their way that, I don't pay for gear, man. I'm at a point where I don't pay for, so I don't know. But I think the Bayer Testafarian is maybe $4 to $5 per ampule, and Primobolan is sold out. Bonivar is sold out. I literally have the last boxes in Thailand here in my cabinet because I bought the last 200 boxes that were available. So they're going to expire. So what's the price? $5 a box. He said I'll take all, or $6 a box, all 200 boxes. So I gave a few away, but the rest is for me. Yeah, so it's you'll get a fair price, man. If you got the contact from me, you say I got it from Vigorous Steve, then they'll give you a fair price, and otherwise, order online. Yeah, there you go. Bayer Testafarian is available in Mexico. Just walk into the pharmacy. There you go. Thoughts on Todd Lee saying subcutaneous injections are worthless? Todd Lee just likes to say the opposite of everybody else, so he sounds smart. I've done entire cycles SubQ, and it's fine. Also, it's clients on Thomasartan, even at TRT dose, just for the additional health benefits. Yeah. On the other hand, you don't want to block angiotensin the entire year through. So I would only use medications if they're needed. Everybody has their own ideas. Right? Just look at the person and decide if you want to take advice from them. Personally, I would not. But that's just me. That's just me. I've done SubQ shots perfectly fine. Perfectly stable hormone levels. Perfectly great physique. Nice and athletic. And sexy looking, and if you don't want that, then do everything intramuscular, man. Destroy your skeletal muscle. You need, you have all these adhesions and bound up glutes, and then you might lose your calves over time. That happened to me, right? Years of glute shots. So do whatever you want, man. You can listen to whoever you want. Personally, it's not somebody I'd listen to. I have access to a lot of IV meds. Is it worth throwing the kitchen sink at it? Injectable L-carnitine, alpha-lipoic acid, NAD, assuming the cost is not a factor. No, I think the only thing that's beneficial, you really notice the difference, is NAD plus and Cerebrolysin. And everything else, injectable glutathione, intramuscular shots, you get the same antioxidant benefits. Carnitine, SubQ, intramuscular, same fat loss benefits. If anything, you buffer it a little bit so your body has ample time to absorb it. Same for alpha-lipoic acid. But fuck alpha-lipoic acid, if you take it orally, it has pretty good bioavailability. NAD+, obviously, you need to inject or take NMN or NR. Nicotinamide mononucleotide, nicotinamide riboside, whatever you prefer. I don't see a reason to do IV shots. Like me and Chase experimented with IV growth hormone, and we can tell you that it's not worth the effort. Even though some guys swear by it. So, no, NAD+. And then, of course, if you're going to do a bag of NAD+, a slow drip, because it's kind of uncomfortable, then yes, throw the carnitine in there. Yes, throw the alpha-lipoic acid in there. Yes, and the vitamin C and the injectable glutathione, because you're already there. You already made a hole in your arm. You might as well maximize the time that you're sitting there absorbing all these nutrients. So, or Mayer's cocktail, Cerebrolysin, just, if you're already hooked up, go for it, dude. But right now, you could do carnitine SubQ, alpha-lipoic acid SubQ, myoinositol, methionine inositol, and a choline injection SubQ. That's what I do. Glutathione intramuscularly, because it's a 4 milliliter shot in most cases, or 5 milliliter shot. And Yeah, the only thing you would, yeah, even NAD plus. So I don't see a reason to do it unless you like to do it. You know, again, you got a hot nurse. She's wearing the outfit. Where are we, Benjamin? She's wearing the outfit. You know, you go through the whole shebang, and then she gives you a nice shoulder massage as you're going through the NAD plus roller coaster. Fuck, man, worth the price, dude. Andy, I don't grow well on 300 milligrams test in MCT oil, 10 milligrams VAR, just get acne and rapid hair thinning. What other steroids or anabolic pathways besides growth hormone could I use to drive muscle growth more effectively? Maybe you're not eating enough. No, man, they told me to eat more. Well, it's an anabolic pathway too, insulin release, right? And nutrients are pretty anabolic. Can be anabolic without nutrients. And if you get acne and rapid hair thinning, then I would say that your diet is not good, because I use test and VAR and much higher dosages in MCT oil. Now, I'm not using VAR right now, but I'm using Anadrol for fuck's sake. And what, do I have one pimple? One? Is my hair thinning? You can hear it. It's ASMR. This is real hair. This is not a tattoo. You hear that? That's real fucking hair, guys. Ask your mom, man. I've been motorboating her boobs fucking when you're not looking. And she has a road rash. Road rash on her chest and her chin. And going like this the whole time. So ask your mom if you don't believe my hair is not real. It's not a tattoo, bro. Eat more food. And eat better food. And then your acne goes away and your hair thinning probably gets a lot less, because you're eating the collagen for keratin production, and you're eating the vitamin A and the vitamin C and the zinc and whatever else you need for hair growth. And it's probably not the answer that you're looking for. So otherwise, throw the growth hormone in the test and the DECA at it. And maybe a 5-alpha-reductase inhibitor like sulpalmetto, Pygium, or finasteride, dutasteride, if you're willing to drop your DHT low to the point that your dick might not work, right? It's either hair loss prevention or dick that doesn't work. I'd rather be bald and motorboat your mom with a dick that works. But that's just me. That's just me, bro. Not if you're still at that phase where I'm not talking about you, Andy. I'm just ranting. And it's a figures Q&A. We got to throw in some rants. If you're worried about hair loss and you're like 10 steps ahead of getting laid, right, or pre-getting laid, yes, I get it. But if you're already getting laid, right, then hair loss is not really an issue, right? Especially if you bang the chicks from behind. Do you think they'll be staring at your hair? They're on cloud 9, dude. They're on cloud fucking 9 if you do it right. The last thing they care about your hair. The thickness of your wallet, sure. The size of your cock, hell yes. If you have some pushing power in your hips, be doing hip thrusts, 3-4 plates on the barbell, hell yes. With your hair, they just get your foot in the door. And then you still need some fucking personality. All right, guy. So yeah, add in some DECA, dude. That's the reason we hair safe. But you probably need to eat better. Eat better. Endeavor, no further questions. Just wanted to pay forward my appreciation. Oh yeah, 10 pounds for the cheesecake fund tomorrow. Actually, we're not going to have cheesecakes. I'm going to have Garrett's popcorn while I watch Tron Ares, or as the reviewers like to call it, Tron Arse. Can't wait. Much appreciated, bro. Sam, your content and insight has helped me stay healthy and get lean and jacked from a very compromised position after losing 250 pounds. Oh, wow. 250 pounds. And you look like that now in your thumbnail? Holy moly, dude. That's good. That's good work, bro. And pay it forward by, whipping your dick around in front of women when they're willing to receive, not unwanted, obviously. Put that dick to work, man. If you lost 250 pounds, you can finally see your dick, and that means it's fucking time to pleasure some hotties. Don't stop there at 250 pounds, man. You got to spread the love. Mitochondrial stacks blunt growth hormone. Does it? My growth hormone levels are pretty high, dude. And I'm not injecting growth hormone. So, no, never heard that. Didn't find it in scientific evidence. Not for MOTS, not for SS31, not for methylene blue, not for SLU. But if you have some scientific evidence, share it once this Vigorous Q&A goes live, and I'll review it. You know, I'm always willing to learn something if it's available. SN. What are reasons we wouldn't want to block angiotensin with telmisartan year-round? Leo Longevity said telmisartan was a life-extending drug. Yeah, so that's in the case of people that are sick, right? Same as empagliflozin. So you're stumping me here a little bit. What were the reasons? I believe that Kurt and Dean did a very extensive podcast on Kurt's channel about not blocking angiotensin, and it has some benefits. So please watch that. It's been a long time since I watched it. And the only takeaway that I got was that it's better not to block it year-round. So I only take telmisartan when I'm on anything over 500 milligrams. And then before that, my blood pressure is totally fine. You know, I take my magnesium, I take my potassium, I take my sodium, all consistently. I'm hydrated. And so I don't need blood pressure management. So again, why would I take a drug if I don't need it? You can say, yeah, it's preventative, but you're drawing conclusions from people who are sick, who have heart failure or something like that. And, you know, yeah, I eat healthy year-round since I was 15 years old. I'm not worried about that shit. I do my daily fasted cardio. I think doing daily fasted cardio is more beneficial than any empagliflozin or any kinds of telmisartan. But fuck, man, you have to put in the work for that. Yeah, it's not as easy as pressing out the telmisartan and pressing out the empagliflozin. You took the telmisartan before bed and or in the morning and the empagliflozin before bed, and you're like, oh, I'm extending my life. But how about we do the fucking work first? You know? I've never heard Leo talk about diet or cardio. So I'd say it, but, you know, diet and exercise, guys. Diet and exercise, and then we use the ancillaries to prevent negative effects caused by the drugs that we want to take for recreational purposes. But honestly, you don't need to be on blood pressure medications year-round if you live healthy. You don't need to be on diabetic medications year-round if you live healthy. And if you have type 1 diabetes, I get it. If you have some genetic hereditary defect that you can't overcome and your blood pressure is sky high, I get it, right? My wife eats perfectly healthy, cooks all her own meals, does the cardio, goes to the gym, is very, very active. Her cholesterol levels are high. She would need a medication or citrus bergamot and amla extract, right? And it runs in her family. Everybody in her family has high cholesterol levels. She has high cholesterol hereditary, similar to people from Spain and Italy, right? They have lipids that are kind of fucked. So those people need cholesterol medication. But that's after doing all the work. After doing all the fucking work. And it's not sexy, and it doesn't sell, and it doesn't give me affiliate sales, but that's the cold, hard fucking truth. You need to put in the work, and then, if you need it, you can put in the ancillaries. And if you megadose mastrone, and you megadose this drug and that drug, and it gives you side effects, yeah, sure, you might need some fucking blood pressure medications, bro. But you can also decide not to megadose that stuff and not shorten your life. I'm taking telmisartan so I can take 3 grams of mastrone. Yeah. 2 glasses of red wine for the resveratrol, bro. Keep on cherry picking. Can you mix cerebrolysin with the other IV drugs? Now, I would do that separately because cerebrolysin are peptides, obviously. Now, based on my research, right, based on the best cerebrolysin deep dive that's now available on the net, can't find a better cerebrolysin deep dive anywhere else besides this fucking YouTube channel. It's not just one peptide. It's not brain-derived neurotropic factor or glial cell line-derived neurotropic factor, something like that. It's just peptide fragments, and some of them might have a brain-derived neurotropic secreting effect. Peptides are still peptides. They're susceptible to be broken down, and glutathione, NAD+, vitamin C, B vitamins, those are all molecules, small molecules similar to testosterone, cholesterol, etc. So those can be broken down. Not in the traditional sense. Obviously, you have certain enzymes that break that down, but these amino acids, they can be broken down, and then you lose the potency of the cerebrolysin. So I would do the cerebrolysin first, or the IV vitamins first. Don't mix small molecules with peptides, right? We don't mix our insulin with testosterone. I wouldn't do that. We don't mix growth hormone with our injectable Winstrol. I wouldn't do that either. So, right, some of the preservatives of each of the compound might denature the peptide chain, and then your cerebrolysin is basically gone. So I would inject that first. Give yourself 5 minutes to kind of absorb it, and then 5 to 6 minutes is usually enough for your entire circulatory system to transfer around the body. Because if you have a resting heart rate of like 50 beats per minute, that's 250 beats, and that probably pumps all the blood around, and then the cerebrolysin gets to the places where it needs to be, starts secreting BDNF and all the other growth factors, the beneficial products, and then you throw in the NAD plus and the glutathione, and you let that absorb. That's what I've always done, but I wouldn't do it in the same time. Does retatrutide suppress IGF-1 or blunt GH response even when exogenous growth hormone is used alongside it? Not that I've seen, and not that I remember reading in the scientific evidence, but as you guys might remember, a large portion of the scientific evidence was not available on Science Hub, so I did my absolute best to review the scientific evidence, but I did not feel like spending $2,000 purchasing the scientific evidence that was not available through Science Hub. Like, retatrutide is reasonably new, so most of the scientific evidence is not available through Science Hub for free. You have to purchase it through Tont online or some other websites. So I did my best researching, but I could not find that retatrutide suppresses IGF-1 or blunts growth hormone response. But it could be indirectly because you're in a caloric deficit. And a caloric deficit could blunt growth hormone response and IGF-1 release over time, even though intermittent fasting actually increases growth hormone response and IGF-1 release. So full fasting or intermittent fasting does increase growth hormone and IGF-1, whereas prolonged caloric deficits lowers testosterone levels, lowers thyroid function, and lowers growth hormone levels over time. So, and again, retatrutide, if you're eating like an asshole before, you're just eating less like an asshole on retatrutide, but you're still eating like an asshole. So what I eat on retatrutide, 1 milligram per day, is beef, chicken, pork tenderloin, maybe 50 grams per day. So it's like, 400 grams of beef, or 300 grams of beef, 300 grams of chicken, 50 grams pork tenderloin, 25 grams of beef liver, and then 300 grams of salmon, and then 10 egg whites and 3 whole eggs, right? So that's something that I eat, give or take, and then a good amount of vegetables and a good amount of fruits, and maybe some mixed these nuts here and there, right, to kind of keep me going. And that's all healthy. That's all healthy. But if you're eating Oreos and cheesecakes before retatrutide and you want to lose weight, but you still keep eating Oreos and retatrutide, or Oreos and cheesecake afterwards, you're getting even less nutrients in. So maybe you get enough nutrients in from eating crap food because you're eating so much crap food, but then you reduce the crap food and then you get no nutrients, and then your growth hormone response is blunted. So that's why people go bald and they get all these issues, loss of bone mineral density, because again, you have to put in the work, eat the right foods first, do the cardio first, go to the gym first. I lose muscle on the retatrutide. No, you fucking lazy piece of shit. Go to the fucking gym. Eat right, and then use these drugs at a low dose to blunt your appetite to make dieting easier, And as you keep dieting and your hunger increases, you increase the dose, right? But if we don't start with 7 milligrams, we start with 2 or half a milligram 3 times a week. And then after a couple months, you're like, fuck it. I'm getting hungry again. I'm thinking about cheesecake too much. I'm fantasizing about eating popcorn on Wednesday when I have to go until Sunday. And then, you bump up the dose, and then you get more of an appetite blunting effect. Where are the best SubQ spots for oil? I heard belly is not ideal. You can inject anywhere, man. Upper legs, side legs, glutes. That's what I mostly do. So my glutes are a little bit inflamed because I do most of my shots on the glutes, whether that's intramuscular or SubQ. But that's also the last place where the fat comes off, and the last place the pants come off. So that seems to be the best place for me. So all my injectable pre-workout that I don't take intramuscularly, I put into the glut fat and the growth hormone when I start that next week, and the IGF-1 and the peptides, it all goes there. And then I got to slowly zipper up and down to let certain areas rest. But yeah, my glutes are a little bit chunky right now. That's part of the game. Let's see, Steve, going to transform from my cruise to 600 test E, 400 Primo, 70 trimp weekly. Want to follow your daily SubQ injection method. Can I mix a vial of 3 for 1 to 2 week supply? Test it, doesn't crash. Okay, yeah, I would do a 1 week supply. So you do 600 tests, 400 Primo, 70 tren in a sterile vial. Show you. Man, I got access to all the gear right now. Just keep my door open. So here, this is like 2 weeks worth of test and deca. And then, you throw it in and then you inject. You shake it up, take my shots every day what I need. And then it's go time. Easy. So it works quite well. Joshua, on 10 milligrams, Reta 59 use growth hormone. My growth hormone came back at 65 nanograms per deciliter, or is it milliliter? So that's over, that's like 4 times higher than usual. Mostly it's like 4 to 5. So that's pretty good, man. Let's scroll down a little bit. Why aren't you using GH? I don't have any GH. I just got a new batch. I was doing like test and deca and then mint, right? And then I ran out of mint, and then I switched to tren, and then I ran out of tren. So I increased the test in the deca and added in the Anadrol. And I have about a lot of tests in deca and Anadrol laying around, so I don't think I'll ever run out. But I ran out of growth hormone, so I know it took a while before I figured, I need some fullness. I need some additional fat loss. So I was getting a little bit flat. So I added in the Anadrol, and the chest is still. Man, look at how red it is. It's the color correction, guys. I still need to adjust the color correction, but here it's popping off the bone, but it's still a little bit on the flat side. So added in the Anadrol, and I'm going to start with maybe 5 I use growth hormone or 6 I use growth hormone and slowly ramp that up. And then, I don't know, I have 2 vials of Increlex left. So when that runs out, I'm done with that. I'm just running what I can get my hands on, man. It doesn't fucking matter what you run. You just have to be consistent and mostly focus on the diet and the training. And the reason why I'm running test and deca right now and Anadrol is because I want to train hard and heavy and rape and pillage and destroy the gym and max out all the machines again, because I really missed that. I tried to train RP style. It was fucking boring. High reps in reserve. Lame as fuck, man. I'll never again. And I can't say that I made any significant gain, so I'm just going to train the way that I like. Close to giving yourself an injury, maxing out all the machines, no air conditioning, and then sweating buckets and going through 2 towels and just, being a masochist in the gym. It's so much fun. Ben, from my personal scientific experience, 6 milligrams that split bi-weekly. 6 I use growth hormone nightly. IGF-1 level sitting at 424 nanograms per milliliter. Yeah, so that's pretty good, man. For 6 I use growth hormone. So I don't think that drops growth hormone or growth IGF-1 levels. So, but yeah, if you're not eating correctly, then, some of these hormones are kind of like diet related. You still have to eat right. Aditya Tamboli on 23% body fat, how to recomp on test deca and Boldenone. It's very simple. You lower your calories, but you keep training hard and you increase the dose. So as the calories come down, you increase the dose. It's easy. I have videos in this. It's called step-by-step cycle design. No need to waste time here. Step-by-step cycle design. I explain everything there in a 25-minute video. Start with 250 tests, 250 deca, and 250 Boldenone, or 500 Boldenone. Maybe that's a little bit too much. 200 tests, 200 deca, 400 Boldenone, 800 milligrams already. And then you start with 3,500 calories, and the calories come down, and every time you lose strength and you lose fullness, you add in more drugs. That's what I did. I started losing fullness, and I lost my pump halfway through the workout, even though I already increased the food from the increase in SLU. So I don't want to eat anymore because, well, I'm on reticulocyte, so eating is a little bit difficult. And I still try to lose body fat. So I also like pumps in the gym. So, more food. Can't really eat foods, but Anadrol is there, and my blood work is okay. So Anadrol and more tests. So now I'm running 600, 600, 1200, 1500. No, not even. I run 50 milligrams 5 times a week. So it's 250, 1450 milligrams steroids. Oh, man. Terrible. 230 pounds, lines on my glutes, lower back, skin folds. It's too bad the face always sucks in last. Sucks. Benjamin was running 10 milligrams Reta, 2 milligrams cagrilintide, thinking about cheesecakes all day. Really? Running out on cagrilintide? Man, that killed me, dude. And pinned 10 milligrams tirzepatide, 2 milligrams cagrilintide. Appetite suppression was much better. Would you stop Reta or mix it all in? Yeah, so some people get better appetite suppression on tirzepatide compared to retatrutide. So if you notice that, then switch back to tirzepatide. In the end, the fat loss comes from the appetite suppression and diet adherence, more so than the additional glucagon agonism from retatrutide, because that's such a fraction compared to actual glucagon. And, well, you can buy the glucagon hypo kits and inject a 1/4 milligram glucagon pre-cardio and get more of a beneficial effect than a boatload of retatrutide that is not blunting your appetite. So I would rather inject the glucagon instead of going with retatrutide if you need tirzepatide to control your appetite. Man, I'm sure some rapper out there is taking those bars and writing a song right now. Retatrutide to control your appetite. Crisis God Foundation. I haven't watched since 2022. What happened, bro? You got so much bigger. It's crazy. What changed? I think I was off cycle then to get my wife pregnant. Like if you go to the Clips channel right now, we're going backwards in time, right? So now we're at like the time where I'm coming off cycle and I'm wanted to stay in shape. So I ended up at 200 pounds or something, lean but small. And now I'm back on cycle. So my face is bigger and I have more muscle, obviously. And, you have a little bit of water retention at the end of the day on the 600 test, 600 DECA and Anadrol cycle. And then the growth hormone is coming in soon, so I'll be even more watery. But it's all for a good cause, man. It's all for a good cause. Thoughts on 175 milligrams test, 700 Mastron. Yeah, that's a good way to kill your dick. Really? It's a good way to kill your dick, man. How about 500 test, 500 Mastron, bro? You're going to be so flat. You're going to be 2D. You look good like this, and then as soon as you turn around, flat, nothing to see. Just maybe abs, and you're going to be pissing up a storm, right? Guys, Mastron, even at 700 milligrams a week, is barely anabolic. Is it anabolic? I'm sure. Is it negligible compared to, I think 700 milligrams of Mastron is about as anabolic as 75 milligrams of Tren. That's 1 in 10. So how about we do 350 test, 350 Mastron, and 75 Tren? You can thank me later. You'll actually put on some real fucking size, Unless you want to be a pretty boy that looks like a ashtray in the face, You also take Anadrol on wrist days. It also is an injectable oral. I have so much oral Anadrol laying around. Again, I just run what I have. So 50 milligrams pre-workout 5 times a week. I might sneak in another 50 milligrams pre-quad day. And then, so that's 300 milligrams a week. Oh, I miscalculated by 50 milligrams. So let's say 1,450 to 300 milligrams Anadrol and testosterone DECA total. And that's my cycle right now. And then at one point, I'll get sick of the DECA, and then I'll probably replace the DECA with Primo, and I'll probably go to a gram and test gram of Primo, and maybe throw in a little bit of Mastron for cosmetic effect, but, that would be like 300 milligrams of Mastron. And maybe keep the Anadrol in or take it out if I notice that it blunts my appetite. But right now, man, today I did back, and I did 1 set, so that's the 5th day consistently on Anadrol, but I was running Anadrol like 50 milligrams pre-quad day. And after a while, I was like, you know what, it's not enough. I'm just going to use it every workout. So today I did back, and in 2 sets I was full, dude. And then you look in the mirror, you're like, what the fuck, bro? What the fuck, bro? I look like Derek Lunsford. No, I wish. Dean, what's up? T-minus 3 days until the 3 Musketeers reunite. Yeah, on the 14th of Tuesday. So I had to cancel the last one. And, man, we had some technical difficulties the last time we did a podcast. So we got 45 minutes in. And then the internet failed on us. And then we couldn't get scheduling done. Dean was at SN Education, or Kurt couldn't make it, or I couldn't make it. Like, my mom was here for 3 weeks, and I had to babysit, basically. So my mom was like, oh, let's go out for Thai food. I'm like, fine, Mom. So 3 weeks I was MIA, and then I wanted to meet up last week, but then I think Dean couldn't make it. So Tuesday it's going to happen, and then finally we got some anabolic roundtable going on again. I can't wait, dude. It's been too long since we talked, and I hope you're doing well. None of us went to the Olympia, but that's okay. Fernando, welcome to the Vigorous crew. Here we go. Finally caught a Q&A and finally joined the crew. Get your questions going, man. What's the episode going to be? So we talked a little bit, I think the first 40 minutes we talked a little bit about megadosing SLU and a couple other things, catching up a little bit. But we mostly wanted to talk about kidney health. So the previous anabolic roundtable, we really discussed the blood work management in depth. And now we wanted to pivot into kidney health. And then the other one after that is going to be liver health, and then maybe heart health. And which is also related to blood pressure, right? Like kidney, heart, and blood pressure, that's all kind of related to each other, because kidney health and heart health, excuse me, I didn't know how to operate this device. Kidney and heart health is mostly regulated by blood pressure, but actually blood pressure is this much in the equation, and then heart and kidney is this much. And then you have liver somewhere, down the line. So we're going to talk about kidney health. All right, we've gone through all the super chat and member questions, so now let's answer some cool stuff. Steve, why microdose retatrutide? If 2 milligrams engages GLP-1 only, NGIP and glucagon, 2.6 milligrams gives weak GIP. No, you still get GIP at any dose, albeit maybe unnoticeable effects. And no glucagon activation. No, that's also not true. You get glucagon activation at any dose. You pass money for GLP effects only for triple A. I don't know where you got this information, dude. We microdose retatrutide to have stable levels. So you have continuous appetite suppression. If you do one bolus shot, which has been designed for lazy diabetic pieces of shit that have to go to the doctor to get their shots, right? We can do our own shots, man. I'm perfectly capable of doing my own shots multiple times per day. Microdosing GLP-1s is for stable and consistent appetite suppression and the beneficial effects of GIP and glucagon activation, which happens at any dose, albeit less than at a higher dose, obviously. Right? It's not like you have to rev the engine to get into the red, and then only when you hit red at a certain dose you get GIP and glucagon activation. Come on now, dude. Read the fucking studies. You see it happens at any dose. But at a lower dose, you get less than at a higher dose. Duh. Come on. All right, where are we? Thank you for your stock investing YouTube channel suggestion last weekend. What's your thoughts on the real estate market in Thailand? Are you renting or owning a property? I own a house. We own this house since... 6 years that I've been living here. So we own this house. It's fully ours. Well, my wife owns it, right? She owns the land. And I just financed it. As the Thai laws, right? As a foreigner, you can't own any property or land. So my wife owns it all, even though it's 50% of my money. Yes, she paid 50% of the shit because she's not broke. She does very well for herself as well. So... she owns 50% of the house and obviously the land. I paid 50%. She paid 50%. And when we sell it, then we use that for a new house. So I would not get into real estate right now. I'm patiently waiting for the real estate cycle to kind of play out in the next 2 years. And then we're going to buy some land. So I might buy some land already because the area that I want to buy land, somewhere close to the airport, I don't think those land property values are going down. But I do think that the construction of houses, the expenses can go down because there'll be less demand. And then you have more opportunity for discounts, obviously. And otherwise, well, my money's locked up in the cryptocurrency market right now, so it will be at least until the end of the year before that money becomes available for additional investments. Then it will probably take a year to build that house, so 2028 is when we can move. And until that time, we have enough space to raise 2 young kids. And then I don't know if we keep this house or we sell it. My plan is to buy a big piece of land, build 2 houses, one for the family, so they're close, right? Right now they live about 20 minutes away, but I want them close because her mom is helping us raise the baby and babies in the future. Her brother works for me. He literally does everything for me, right? It's my personal assistant. All the bullshit I don't want to do or don't want to deal with, I delegate to him, and he does a phenomenal job. So that's the motorcycle stuff, the visa stuff, the legal stuff. I just delegate everything to him, and then he comes back with an answer and a solution. So it's well worth the money. So I want them to live basically next door, so we'll buy a big fat piece of land. 2 houses, 1 main house, 1 nice luxury guest house for them, and then a fat garage for my motorbikes. But no, I would not go into real estate here. There's too much building and too little demand. And the quality of the houses, I don't know, I'd rather live in a paper box. I looked for a house to buy for 4 years till we found this house. And now in hindsight, I kind of regret it. Some things are getting broken. The area's noisy, a lot of noise pollution. So the next place we're going to live is a private area with basically a gated community. No street dogs, and no riffraff. And then, and then I need to put valves on all of my motorbikes. Those exhaust things that flip. And then I'll only turn those open when I leave the compound. Because, hey, if you want to live amongst the nice people, then you got to, do some nice things back. So even though I like car modifications and motorbike modifications, and yes, I will get myself an electric, what is it called? I already looked for this. You get a golf cart and you soup it up, right? So you put the wheels outside, you put a little extra, cover over it, put the sound bar in there, put the underglow, and then it's electric, so you can't put any exhaust, but I probably put like 2 fake exhausts in there with a smoke, a little bit of smoke kit, and then I just fucking drive around to the 7-Eleven with my kids. That's how I'll introduce them to riding funny things. Yeah, but that will be noise-free, basically. If you play music on the soundbar, then it'll be quiet. But yeah, that's what I want to do, Nice roads, nice paved roads, no cracks, nice big compound, maybe a home gym, and then I'll never leave, dude. Crypto, let's go. So I can buy my Lambos. Do you think girls smell steroids? I swear that since I increased dose and adding Primo and Anavor, the girls smell me more. Yeah, that's what most men think. I don't know if it's true, but I think you're just more confident and you just don't give a fuck. So, and the girl seems to like that, right? So then you turn into the guy she told her boyfriend not to worry about. And then you're like the part-time boyfriend, So now, when I'm sauced to the gills, I always get great response from the women, especially now when you're a little bit leaner, a little bit more jacked, and you're fully pumped. You're walking around like in the gym, like you own the place, and you unrack all the heavy dumbbells, and then some women are attracted to that shit. So it's fun, man. It's better than dudes walking up to you like, "Hey, bro, you're so jacked. How much do you bench?" That's not what I take the steroids for, Come on now. It's raining in Vegas. Olympia is washed. Yeah. Any updates? No, I'll check after the live stream. Let's see. Ooh, One Punch Nas looks good. Anyway, we'll check that out later. Daniel Tim, fertility protocol is done. Going back on cycle after 1 year completely off. How would you approach it? TRT, bro. Start low. Don't go in raw and dry, and take it easy. 8 years experience prior, but back to cycle the old days around 800 milligrams and slowly. I would start slowly, man. You'll be surprised how much of a response you get. So I started with like 156, half an ampule of bare test of iron, and I did that for 8 weeks or something, and then I started increasing the dose. So, like, you probably lost a lot of muscle and strength, so did you start with TRT and milk it? Start with a low dose, build your way up. You don't have to start at 800 milligrams. That's when you need to tell them start time, bro. Shit. No, start low, build your way up. You can only build muscle so fast. You can only regain strength so fast. So you do it at the lowest effective dose, and then you stay as healthy as possible for the longest periods of time. And then after 6 months, you can blast 800 milligrams again. Tron Airs is decent. Watched it last night. Great 9-inch nail soundtrack, and of course the visuals. Definitely recommended a pre-movie edible. Yes, I allegedly might be doing something similar. Yeah. Yum. Then I can, you have to blunt the emotions regarding the story, but I'm looking forward to the visuals and the 9-inch nail soundtrack, and of course a 4K Tron Legacy with the Daft Punk. I mean, it's feast for the eyes and the ears. Yeah, and even that story was a little bit thin, but the Tron never had a good story. It's not Apocalypse Now Redux, edit. Once they start releasing studies, there's likely to be a higher glucagon response at higher doses, 5 milligrams daily. I think I read that in studies, man, that the glucagon response is dose dependent, albeit that it's, what was it, like a fraction, maybe 20% or 15% of actual glucagon. I'm just not sure how much glucagon humans produce. And of course, if you have a ketogenic diet or you do intermittent fasting, then you release more glucagon than you would on a high carb diet, obviously, right? So, I would say that on 7 milligrams retatrutide, I get about the same appetite suppression as 3 milligrams tirzepatide, based on my personal experience. Yeah, and the fat loss is stellar right now, but it's probably the mitochondrial support stack, which I was not on when I was running 3 milligrams tirzepatide. So, right, polypharmacy. It's hard to tell what is doing what. Is it coming from the glucagon agonism? Probably not. I hope people aren't still afraid of pinning. Well, if you found this YouTube channel, then probably not. But hey, it's there's a lot of people who are afraid of pinning, man. I kind of take an oral for that, man. Steve's voice sounds off delayed for everybody else. I think it's quite matched, but it could be. We're in a new studio, so fingers crossed. And otherwise, refresh the page, man. Refresh the page. Hi, Jake. You've been spamming this question, so that means you're in timeout. You do that again, you're banned for life. No spamming, bro. You're not special. If I skip your question, it's because I don't want to answer it. Well, if you want me to answer it, that's what the super chats are there for. When will we get a Vigorous movie stack? 25 to 50 micrograms LSD, allegedly. But it has to be a long movie. You have to time it correctly. So you want to reach the peak of the LSD, obviously, in the start of the movie, because LSD has a pretty long half-life. So I would start sublingual LSD administration 3 hours before the movie, or 4 hours. But then you might not be able to buy the popcorn. Like, this is a microdose for bodybuilders, right? So 15 milligrams is normally a microdose. That's why I always say that is not a microdose. And I would only do this when I live in Holland, obviously, my own home country, where you can get away with doing stupid shit like this. But yeah, that would be part of the Vigorous movie stack. And then something that's easy to digest and easy to snack. So surprisingly, Garrett's caramel popcorn with macadamia nuts is very easy to digest for me. Doesn't really send my heart rate going high, but on SLU, it does make me a little bit sweaty. So now I bring what is it? Ice Americano from Starbucks, or 4 shots, so you get the biggest one. And then you add in another shot, and then you slowly sip that. You have a little bit of cold water to kind of keep you going, and then you get a small Garrett's, small, not fat people size, right? You get the smallest one. So the smallest one is basically the size of 2 VHS tapes. Remember VHS tapes? Right? It's maybe 200 grams or something. So you get a small one. You eat them one at a time. You savor that. And for anybody who's ever done a microdose LSD, you don't need to have a handful of shit. Just a small bite, and you're well on your way to having a good time. And then you have to select the movies that are audio and visually stunning, obviously. So that's Avatar, or Marvel movies, or like the story doesn't matter. Short-term memory is affected anyway. Yeah, but audio and visually stunning. So a movie like Sinners, it's not microdose or popcorn worthy, but a movie like Tron Ares, yeah, absolutely, man. I would if I could. I would if I could. Let's see, where are we? Is the new Daft Punk good? I haven't listened to it. Thank you for your real estate insight, Steve. In the U.S., some meal delivery companies seem to be a godsend for busy professionals. Are there any good, solid meal delivery companies in Thailand? Probably, but I cook all my own meals. I don't trust anybody to make meals for me frequently. Plus, I like my little micro bakes. You know, you making food is easy. It's a 10-minute job, 10, 15 minutes to eat it. So you get a little 20 minutes, relaxation. You put in, podcast, you make a little meal. And then you eat your meal, you feel satisfied because you just had something nutritious. And then it's fresh. I make every meal fresh, dude. I've done it for many years. The Tupperware, going to university, Tupperware, going to a consultancy firm and consultancy clients, Tupperware, and eating in the fucking bathroom because you don't want to talk about it. Or drinking the shakes, and just, no, man, I'm my own boss. I'm financially secure. I can not work for 3 months and it doesn't fucking matter. So I eat all my meals fresh. And I wouldn't know which milk. And you have milk companies here, but I wouldn't know which ones because I don't use them. Crypto bloodbath related to Trump tariffs. Yeah, I think there was something was posted on X and then the market sold off. So stop loss was hit and then I bought back in. But right now everything is going sideways. What is it? The Bitcoin dominance is 60%, and it wicked all the way up to, what was it, 63.5. So that's a big deal. If like SPX sold off 300 points, 200 points. Yeah, 200. So that's what? In one day, 3.2% wick. I mean, when was the last time we saw that? Also during the tariffs. Nice work, Trump. Nice work. Yeah, this is what you have to be ready for, man. Set your stop loss and then buy back in lower. We might see another dip Sunday, right? The volume right now is absolutely terrible. And for all the people who bought gold a couple months ago, I salute you. I wish I'd done the same because gold is outpacing Bitcoin also. So, but hey, once Bitcoin once gold peaks and the money's going to flow into Bitcoin, you're going to see some serious shit. Yeah, fingers crossed. Even before China becomes Debol and Anadrol only. Yeah. Well, the US tariffs have no effect on me. I live in Thailand, bro. I can get whatever I need easily. Is 22 too young to be using mitochondrial fat loss tech? Is your risk of tolerance your goat? I don't think so. But I don't think you need it because when you're 22, your metabolism is great. And assuming you eat healthy. And you don't subject yourself to oxidative stress a lot, like smoking, drinking, and all that kind of bullshit. So I don't think you need it, but you could look into it. It doesn't downregulate your HPTA, and you could stop cold turkey and feel less energetic, obviously. But it's not the end of the world. I've stopped these peptides just cold turkey because I didn't feel like injecting, or I went on holiday, couldn't bring it with me, or I ran out, or
whatever. And yeah, you have a little bit less energy, and it's easier to gain fat, obviously. But it's not the end of the world. Horseshoe stop steroids cold turkey. Oh man, it sucks. Is Grab in Thailand? Yeah, man. We got Grab. We got Line Messenger. We got Bolt, and that's for taxis. But Grab food. It's all here, man. It's all here. If rare earth stops going to the US from China, get ready for a bumpy ride. Yeah. Say goodbye to your lithium batteries. What about my power bank? Listen, man, they'll find a way. It just means that things are getting expensive. Like the world is fucked up. We all know this, right? There's a lot of manipulation going on. In the end, we as a consumer will have to pay more because of the bad decisions that people in governments in multiple countries make. So all you can do is just get rich. That's all you can do. And carve a little niche speck on this planet out for yourself with money. So play their game, man. Play their fucking game. Save your money. Put it in appreciable assets. Don't spend so much money on bullshit unless you have fuck you money. And then you can deal with this shit, you know? I don't think that voting matters. I don't think that protesting matters. Over the course of my 42 years on this planet, I haven't seen it got any better. Besides technology improving, right? We have very fast internet. We have mobile phones. But from a society and government perspective, it only gets worse. So get that money, dude, and make your life comfortable as possible. Because yeah, tariffs will increase the price of everything, and the currency denomination will lower your purchasing power. So it's up to you to just keep earning more money to deal with that shit. And instead of laying blame, it's Trump's fault, it's China's fault, it's this guy's fault, that guy's fault. Fingers to you. I need to earn more money so I can compensate for the retardation that's going on in the planet. And that's the only thing you can do. Or you can live somewhere where it's cheaper. But even there, like Thailand is not cheap anymore, man. So where are you going to live? Cambodia? Do you have access to... You could do that for a couple of years. You can live in Cambodia or Vietnam or Philippines, or Indonesia, but do you have access to the same healthcare? It becomes important when you're a little bit older, especially when you have kids. Do you have access to the same schooling? You have excellent private schools here. Do you have those in Vietnam or Cambodia or Indonesia or Philippines? Not to the level they have here. And even then, many rich Thai people send their kids to private school in the UK or America, and not that I feel that school is so important. Fuck, giant waste of time when it comes to me. But, you need at least some sort of, middle school. What is it? Not university, but whatever comes before that. So that you have to fulfill. But yeah, the only thing you can do is just earn money and make your life a little bit comfortable that way. And whatever happens, happens, man. Can't complain. Complaining doesn't solve anything, but earning money does. And it's not to buy bullshit, but it's just to alleviate the symptoms of life. Hey, Steve, would you recommend for somebody who has all the symptoms of low test, but their test is normal for blood work? From blood works, okay, so you have normal levels of test. I would suggest you talk with the hormone optimizer because there could be a million different things, dude. Million different things. Lyme's disease, chronic oxidative stress, undersleeping. Honestly, dude, you need some guidance. If your testosterone levels are in range, but you have the symptoms of low testosterone, there could be copious amounts of things wrong. Nutrition could be wrong. Sleep quality could be wrong. Vitamin D deficiency. Man, it's so much. So you have to go through the checklist and slowly address every potential root cause with a solution and then take it from there. But it's probably better to do that under guidance. New York Open tomorrow will be interesting. Yeah, let's see what happens, man. I might just have to sell again and put everything in stables because I'm a little bit pissed. Honestly. Now, we could have, of course, a nice week upwards. Right? If everything, if gold is still going up, You know, on Friday, gold went up. How many percent? It had a 1 day drop from 4,060 to 3,050, and then it went up from 3,950, and then it went up to 4,020, and now it's closed at 4,017. So, you know, the money is still moving. It just came out of the SPX and the stock exchange and the cryptocurrency market. Doesn't mean it can flow back in. We have to look at how many stablecoins there are now. But yeah, I was not happy with that fucking wick, you know. This is Bitcoin, man. It tests your patience. And then when you're almost ready to quit, then it starts pumping. So you better be in when it starts pumping. Otherwise, you have to FOMO into it. And then you sell at a loss and you buy back in at a loss. And then you're like, fuck, dude. Fuck this shit. And you still make a little bit of money to compensate. But it hurts. During the anguish of post-psychotherapy in which I find myself. That's like a fucking novel, dude. During the, do you have to close the lights? Put the rain in the window. During the anguish of post-psychotherapy in which I find myself. Would a small dose of clenbuterol, 20 micrograms daily, alleviate my symptoms and make the pain go away? Yeah, that's what I recommend in the post-psychotherapy ebook. Just add in a little bit of clen. It has no negative effect on HPTA. Helps with fat loss. Has a little bit of anabolic benefit. And it keeps your metabolism firing and prevents fat gain. So I'm not against it. I've done it through previous PCTs, and it made it a little bit more tolerable. Yeah, start writing books, man. I think you have a hidden talent. I want to see an Amazon link in 6 months. Steve, I published. It's called The Anguishes of Post-Psychotherapy. The Anguish of Post-Psychotherapy. How I overcame hypothalamic pituitary testicular axis shutdown. By BMX Shark. You see a picture at the end like, hey, what's the longest period of time you stay in Primo? Until my blood work tells me otherwise. And what was the max dose you were on? So I think I ran a gram of Primo for 3 months or something. And then I ran out or I got tired of pinning. Yeah. Steve, back on fluvoxamine. Dude, that's the first thing I took when my wife was pregnant. Fluvoxamine is the shit. Fluvoxamine and methylene blue is the shit. Man, even on 150 milligrams of train, I was in a good mood. Until I started driving. But that's outside factors, right? Like with Trent, sometimes if you don't run fluvoxamine or methylene blue, then yeah, you don't have any of these mental support aids in place. Then you just wake up, you know, underneath a rain cloud, and everything is wrong. But I didn't have that, so. But I'm still happy to be off it. Schools are overrated and outdated. Homeschooling is the way to go. Yeah, that's what I plan to do. But you still have, you know, mandatory school until, what, 15 or 16 years old. So I plan to do homeschooling for my kids as much as possible. Luckily, I have the time for it. And I schooled all of you fuckers. All right? Schooled you many years. So I'm sure I can do that for my kids. My wife is actually a private tutor in math. So we got that covered. Which means you can also do chemistry and a couple other things. And so we got that covered, dude. Right, I taught as a coach and a consultant for many years, and my wife has taught as a math teacher for many years. She earned quite good money with that. So yeah, I will homeschool, but mandatory up until a certain age. So we just send them to a private school, and then once the private school is done and the Bitcoin that I gifted them when they were born becomes available, then hey, they can buy a house or start a business or whatever, you know. I got a Bitcoin ready for my daughter Jadzia and a Bitcoin ready for my son, which the name is not yet known. But yeah, Bitcoins are ready, and by the time they're, I don't know, 16, 18, they have a nice fund to do whatever the fuck they want. And I will oversee how that will be spent. Steve is back on the fluvoxamine train. Yep. Steve's anabolic pharmacy is gone. No, its website just went live. Just took 1 week. Relax. Relax. He's back already. Don't worry. I talked with him on a daily, and he was working hard behind the scenes. Fun fact, Trump coins up 300% on MEXC exchange. Really? That's funny, dude. That's funny. I did some good trades on Ethereum and Solana, and they're both down now, so I'm out of those positions. Still got some Bitcoin. But I might get into Solana tomorrow because the RSI looks favorable on the daily chart. The Solana was pumping a little bit better compared to Ethereum, so since the end of August, I've mostly been in Solana. And then some trades back and forth. But yeah, it looks like hopefully the Bitcoin bull run will start. And then since Bitcoin dominance is so high right now, I think Bitcoin's going to move first. And then the rest is going to move. And then the shitcoins are going to move. And then it's time to sell. And I think that's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 months. Want to take a look? Take a look at what, bro? Where's the question, bro? No, I got my eye open. Desip, 25 milligrams daily SubQ. Blood's gone. Blood's good with estradiol at 44 micrograms per milliliter. So it's 175 milligrams Desip. Estradiol at the top of the reference range. Added in 4 milligrams tren acetate daily for 6 weeks. Estradiol is rooted and 100 milligrams vitamin B6 P5P daily. Felt great. Added in 2 to 3 IU's growth hormone. Got slight gyno. Too high estradiol or not enough P5P. That's probably water retention, man. 4 milligrams of tren per week or per day is what? 30 milligrams, 28 milligrams. It's negligible. Estradiol is not that high. The progestogenic signaling is not that high. I don't think your prolactin levels are high. So go do your blood work. Confirm it if your estrogen and prolactin is high. But trenbolone might detect as estradiol unless you do a sensitive test. But it's probably just water retention from the growth hormone, man. So, you know, and if it's hard to the touch, then, yeah, you might have some gyno, and then you need to use roloxifene and see if the estrogen that's elevated on your blood work is actually coming from tren or the estradiol itself. And for that, you need to either do a sensitive test, ultrasensitive liquid chromatography, tandem mass spectrometry, estradiol test, unpronounceable for fuck's sake, or take the tren out for like 3 weeks. So, hope that solves it. Oh, all good, man. You're super chatting, so it's your member, so you don't even need the super chat. Keep that money, bro. You already spent it on the membership. Save that money. Malaysia had an incredible healthcare system and find it very affordable to live, but not as fun as Thailand. Yeah, Malaysia is quite developed. Malaysia and Singapore, but Cambodia and Vietnam and Indonesia and Philippines, nah, good for holiday. That's about it. Is 50 milligrams zinc daily sustainable long term? It might lower your copper levels over time, but I think 25 to 50 milligrams is pretty doable. Yeah, I take 30 something. Fucked it up. Where's the question, bro? I don't see it. £5. Ask it again. Get your money's worth before I leave. Before I throw in the towel on this Q&A, man. It's 1:35 in the morning. Can't keep me here forever, bro. Good job, son, after long and big steroid exposure. Yeah, but I came off cycle and we did IVF. So, you know, you just keep retrieving eggs and fertilizing them until you get an embryo that's a boy. It's a numbers game, bro. Kisspeptin 10 doesn't work. You'd have to dose it multiple times per day, and it just doesn't work. People say that it works. Also sell Kisspeptin 10. There you go. Gonadorelin, same shit. HCG, FSH. Even HMG is subpar. Steve, have you tried Wellbutrin XL 150? No, I only tried fluvoxamine and vortioxetine. Based on my research, it seems that fluvoxamine and vortioxetine creates the most neurogenesis by increasing brain-derived neurotropic factor. So I tried fluvoxamine first for a year, came off to get my wife pregnant, then went back on it, albeit half the dose. I ran 100 milligrams fluvoxamine before, slowly titrated up, and then stopped cold turkey. I wouldn't recommend it. I have videos on this, and one of them just dropped on the Clips channel. So give the Clips channel a subscribe. All right, it's linked directly down below, guys. Almost 10,000 subscribers and making like $1,500 of AdSense sweet-ass revenue before taxes. So, yeah. So give that video a watch, and otherwise watch the full videos here on this YouTube channel. My experience with fluvoxamine, and I stopped fluvoxamine cold turkey, 2 videos. So now I'm running 50 milligrams per day with 10 milligrams methylene blue, no serotonin syndrome and no negative effects, not salivating, not being sore, not hot to the touch. Then I switched to vortioxetine to see if that would be better for my mood and get better or more neurogenesis. And then I did 2.5 milligrams or 5 milligrams, I can't remember. It killed my dick. It killed, zero libido, dude. Couldn't get it up. Couldn't fucking get it up. Didn't want to fucking have sex. Didn't want to masturbate. Looked at fucking the nastiest porn that, men would definitely get a boner from. Nothing. And then I added in 3 milligrams methylene blue or 5 milligrams methylene blue, and I got full-blown serotonin syndrome. So I threw it in the trash. Stayed off for a week. No methylene blue, no fluvoxamine, no vortioxetine. And then I reintroduced the fluvoxamine, and I've been happy ever since. Wellbutrin is a serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine reuptake inhibitor, and I don't need the dopamine and norepinephrine. So I never experimented with this. But yeah, some people have great responses with it. A lot of energy, good stuff. So, stick with the drug or the SSRI or SNDRI that works for you. Right? There's many of them, so stick with the ones that work. Let's see. A lot of newbie questions. Steve, ever had a wheelchair user client? I did a consultation with one many years ago. I can't even remember what we talked about. So, yes, no. It's been a while. Hey, Steve, starting a fat burning cycle. How many? Didn't you post this before? Dude, you fucking dildo. I hate it when people... Here, 3 times now. You're fucking banned for life, dude. Get fucked. You're not special. You are not special. You don't need to spam it 3 times. Eat a fucking bag of dicks and choke on it. Oh, the more I post, the more chance I have for him to answer it. And you have a chance to get banned. Don't be an Indian. That's what Indians do. And look at me, I'm special. And then they start harassing you like they're the only person on the planet. You're not special, bro. Don't waste my time. Ask nicely. Or super chat. Yeah, it's, end of story. I'm off the train and I'm still raging. Fucking bullshit. All right, let's scroll up a little bit. Do you know what is usually percentage of males versus females born after years of high anabolics? You have a higher likelihood to get a female offspring, female child, obviously, because male chromosomes in the sperm are, the Y chromosomes are more susceptible to oxidative stress. So you have a male Y chromosome sperm and a female X chromosome sperm. And the male Y chromosome, by the time they enter the uterus and they're ready to get to the egg, the Y chromosome has a lot of DNA fragmentation, and then the likelihood of fertilization with the Y chromosome, with the X chromosome in the egg, that's the female that's always an X chromosome, is less than the likelihood of an X chromosome in the female sperm coming to the female egg with also an X chromosome. Plus, you have redundancy. Then you have two X chromosomes that can compensate for each other, right? So, long story short, steroids, bodybuilding, this lifestyle creates oxidative stress. And then the Y chromosomes in the male sperm gets damaged. DNA fragmentation goes up. More DNA is fragmented. And then you have less likelihood to get a male offspring compared to a female offspring. Because again, you have redundancy in the X chromosome. Has more defense mechanisms against pro-oxidants, basically. So, yeah, what you need to do is come off cycle, increase your antioxidants, and then you have a 50-50 chance. So all the guys that conceive on cycle, I got my wife pregnant on trin. It's a girl, bro. It's a girl. And I wanted to have a son because I have an empire and a legacy to leave that I don't think my daughter would have an interest in taking over. Well, maybe you never know, right? But yeah, I think I've done well in my life that I deserve a son. And, a king must, give legacy to a son. And, yeah, so I did what I had to do to conceive one boy. Now, the boy embryo is ready, and hopefully it will implant just as easy as the girl embryo did. Again, they're all DNA tested and all made sure that they're perfectly healthy. Passed all the different phases before it gets frozen. And then once we're ready for implantation, hopefully it sticks. And then we pass the nip test just in case. I might as fucking well do all the tests again. And then I have a son. And I want to call him Kronos, but nobody seems to agree with me. Why would you name your son Kronos? Doesn't it sound fucking badass, dude? Kronos the Destroyer. All right, let's see. No, I don't play around, man. As I get older, I have less patience. And again, I'm not here to please people. If you send a question 4 fucking times, then you can just get fucked. Fuck, dude. Super chat. Yeah, I'll get the membership or super chat. I'll see it and I'll answer it. But if you start spamming, dude, get fucked, get lost. Fernando Freitas. I pulled the growth hormone added in 40 milligrams to tamoxifen daily. At 8 to 10 days, didn't notice much reduction. Then pulled trin, and 10 to 14 days after pulling trin, noticed reduction in gyno. Sadly, didn't pull bloods. Yeah, so maybe the trin was Deca. It happens, man. It fucking happens. Like, Deca gave me instant gyno, basically, before I got it removed. Now there's nothing. Now there's a little bit of skin, a little bit of fat. Ooh. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh. So, but with trin, I never got it. So, but maybe you're more susceptible to trin. So, yeah, take the trin out, and then it goes away, and maybe switch trin brands. See if it happens. Or send it into Januszek, right? Get it third-party tested to make sure that your trin is trin. Or use... some of my affiliates, which I personally use myself, and I never had issues. And if they don't have Primo or Masteron on the list, it's because they can't get it. And they wouldn't produce something labeled as Masteron or Primo and then put testosterone propionate in there. They wouldn't do that. All right? So if it's out of stock, it's out of stock for a reason. And that actually gives you more what do you say? Well, at least you know that the shit that they have in stock is actually what it's supposed to be. Let's see. Might drop E2 to 25 to 30 and double the P5P and see how it goes unless you think it's not warranted. Well, if it's already going away after dropping the trend, then I don't think you need to, Having an estradiol at the top of the reference range is good for your lipids and cardiovascular health and overall general well-being. So I wouldn't drop it lower than needed. And again, check your prolactin levels first, man. Can you tell more about gender selection procedure? I have a 2.5 hour deep dive on fertility. Maybe you should search for that. The video that you asked for is already there. All you have to do is search for it. Yeah. Chrono sounds anabolic, man. Yeah, I thought it was a fucking epic word. See, all the dudes say it's nice, and then all the women, like my mom, said, "You can't call your son Kronos. He ate all his children," like the Greek god, right? And my wife's like, you can't call your son Kronos. That's the planet from the fucking Klingons. And all the gamers are like, hey, you can't call your son Kronos because it's a video game. It just means time, dude. It just means time. But you could give it away for so many reasons. I just think it's a cool name. Yeah, Kronos the Destroyer. Yeah, I'm not against it. Fuck it, maybe maybe just when we go get the password or passport, I'll just put Kronos in there, the first name, and then my wife can choose the second name. Steve's, any thoughts on astaxanthin and urethrin A for mitochondrial antioxidant support? Yeah, I looked into it when I did that mitochondrial deep dive a couple years back, but I was not convinced, and I ran both of them, and I didn't notice anything. But I didn't notice anything back then from the SS31, and now I noticed something. So maybe it's the combination of methylene blue, which I did not run in the past, that could also get some benefits from the astaxanthin or urolithin A. I'll do some more research on it when I do another mitochondrial deep dive. But when that is, I don't know, man. It's honestly, it's hard to get motivated to get more videos. Because I got so much stuff going on, and I'm finally living my life. So instead of spending my whole fucking day on PubMed and making videos, I'm enjoying my motorcycles and my kids, or my kid and my cats. Homocysteine is 20. Will 3 grams of trimethylglycine be enough? 3 to 13 is the reference range. Yeah, that might help. You could also add in some B vitamins. And find the root cause of why your homocysteine is elevated. Right? It's the breakdown of homocysteine with B vitamins or trimethylglycine, or is homocysteine elevated because you're inflamed? India is not the cleanest place, and you guys don't have the best diet, so start looking there. Do you run methylene blue daily or with breaks? Daily. Yeah, 10 milligrams daily. Let's see. Tore my proximal bicep tendon in August. Did non-surgical recovery with the peptide protocol you recommended. BBC 157, TB 500, fragment. Yeah, KPV, GHK copper, and growth hormone. Recovery was insanely fast. Thanks for the advice. Okay. Happy to hear that it helped. But what about the Anavar, bro? What about the VAR and the collagen peptides? I'm sure you threw that in as well. So, yeah. It's as long as you get it early enough, you get it on time, you run a high dose, then, then go for it. Methylfolate, methylcobalamin doesn't suit me at all. Why not? Why not? My diet is super clean, but I can do some B complex here. Okay, just do a B complex then. Zach Tippins, where's your question? I'll be looking for it. I support and agree with you that Kronos is a badass name. I'm going to show my wife all these super chats and member questions, and then maybe she can change her mind. And otherwise, I'm just going to sneak it in there, bro. Hey, Steve, curious on HDL. I'm a hypothyroid and have a hard time getting HDL above 39. Should I be avoiding orals at all at this point? I thought that, hypothyroid lowers HDL, right? Because it metabolizes it quicker. Steroids will lower your HDL also. Did you try citrus bergamot and amla extract and high-dose fish oil? That might bring it up. It brings it up for me, or at least prevents it from coming down brutally, compared to not running it on oral steroids. So why don't you take 600 milligrams alma extract and 500 milligrams citrus bergamot 2 times per day, morning, evening, and 800 milligrams EPA and DHA with every single meal. So that's 8 times, not 8 times, 800 milligrams 5 times per day. I'm assuming you eat 5 meals per day. So that's 4,000 milligrams EPA and DHA on top of whatever omega-3 fatty acids you get from chia seeds, flax seeds, walnuts, salmon, etc. And, you know, high-quality beef also has a little bit of omega-3s, albeit trace amounts. Maybe you can get your HDL to 45, and you have 6 points to play with to get it down to 39 again by taking some Anavar orally. But yeah, man, steroids, well, steroids crush your HDL like nothing else, and so does hypothyroidism. Maybe we should address that. He's just throwing money at you. Okay, so we'll put this in the Cheesecake Fund. Steve, I just remembered you have a protocol you mentioned about GHK copper as cosmetic muscle enhancing of some sort. I've looked everywhere, but I can't seem to find it. Mentioned in a Vigorous Q&A. Yeah, it's a long time ago, so that I made a video about that. So basically, in smaller body parts like your biceps, your shoulders, your triceps, 5 milligrams GHK copper at the site you want to enhance. Post-workout, the day after the workout, and maybe the second day after the workout. So if you train triceps twice a week, you can literally do 6 shots of 5 milligrams GHK copper bilaterally. It does create some adhesions. So you need to do deep tissue massage therapy, obviously, to loosen up the area because it literally binds everything up and makes it really, really tight. But for me, I was able to develop a bit of a peak on my triceps. So like this fucking peak here. It's not as big as it used to be, but I used to run much higher dosages. And again, it's Saturday, guys. So this I didn't have. This was just fucking gone, right? This I didn't have. So I was able to grow this. And it's not super impressive, especially considering the amount of pain that you have to go through, because it does burn worse than gonorrhea, allegedly. Never had gonorrhea, but so I've heard. It's quite painful. So, yeah, but it worked out. I did it for a couple months. I can't remember how long it was, but I got like 10 vials of 50 milligrams. And then I probably bought another 10 vials. I just kept training and doing deep tissue massage therapy every week with a little bit of Graston technique. That's why in some of the older videos you see my triceps are completely bruised over because the guy really had to dig out all the adhesions. And now it's, I got a little bit stronger in that area. I still can't really connect with it, but at least it's a little bit more voluminous. Did it get me laid? Not really. Did it make me more financially secure? Not really. Do I look a little bit better from a contour perspective in pictures? Sure. Was it worth it? Probably not. But I'm happy with the slight increase of peakiness in my tricep. But this didn't change, right? So this didn't change. It's purely on the outside here. This area. This. I never spiked this. I have this weird indentation here. So my tricep is literally straight. Most people have some meat hanging there, right? I don't have that, but then again, in the front double bicep, it looks pretty okay, you know. So I'm not getting on stage. I'm not one of those guys that's delusional and looks like shit and gets on stage. I know I look like shit, or at least not stage worthy. So I'm not gonna bother the judges in the audience with my shitty physique. Yeah, I'm a pro, bro. I'm a doctor, and he plays last. What the fuck, man? Stay home. Stay home, dude. Why are you bothering us with that shit? Nobody wants to see it. So I'm well aware that nobody wants to see it, so I stay home. But it was a fun experiment. John Ploak, what's up? Yeah, this guy is smart. He becomes a member, and fucking right away, within a minute, got his question ready. Smart move. I've been watching you for 3 years now. Love the info. Started to look HRT. Started looking to start HRT Plus with growth hormone for entrepreneurship. Almost down 12% body fat. I'm currently running Retatrutide, CJC, MK677, and Semax. Thanks for the info, bro. Okay, that's good. So when you're 12% body fat, do your blood work again to kind of get a baseline, see where your growth hormone and IGF-1 levels are at, and then try to match that with a dose of growth hormone, and then see how much water retention changes. And then you take the CJC and the MK677 out, obviously, because you're going to real growth hormone. So watch all the videos about how to start TRT and that kind of stuff, right? I have a boatload of videos on that topic. And then start low, build your way up, man, and keep making that fat loss journey happen. So, good stuff. Alvaro, what's up, my dude? You have 2 hours of time stepping. Oh, Alvaro, you're sorry, bro, but the weekly Q&As are back. Alvaro had like a 3-month vacation from doing timestamps for me, and I think Paul has also been a little bit lazy doing doing live streams. So Alvaro's like, fuck yeah, I don't have to work, but I still get my salary. But yeah, the work is back, bro. I'm sorry. What's up? Where are we? The tip with GHK-Cu is diluted with plenty of bacteriostatic water, at least 5 ml, otherwise it burns like hell and it's not worth the pain. Yeah, I did that also, like 5 milligrams and 2 milliliters. Still burns. I recently used Glow, so that's TB500, BPC157, and GHK-Cu. And I put like 3 cc's or 2.5 cc's in the vial, right? It's 50 milligrams GHK-Cu, and it fucking burned like fucking terrible, you know? Ugh. But it did fix my tricep. Yeah, I was having a little bit of tendonitis here in the tricep. I was doing like 50 kilo tricep extensions, and then after a while, it did not feel good. So you do like 4 reps when you know you can get 6 to 7. And then after a while, you're like, oh, I gotta fucking dump it, bro, because it didn't feel good. But now I can do the 50 kilo overhead extensions again. So good stuff. You know what the problem is with those 50 kilo dumbbells? So you lay back and then you sit up enough in the seated bench. And you lean backwards a little bit. And then every time this fucking dumbbell is scraping across your fucking back, dude. And you really try to go all the way. But we're going to have to delete fart. And it's not 67, bro. It's 69. You're too short from being funny. I also discussed this in the fertility video. Use the timestamps. Right? Antioxidants and coming off cycle. Sperm morphology, sperm motility, and DNA fragmentation are just not going to be ideal when you're on cycle because the oxidative stress is higher. And even when you take a boatload of antioxidants, it's still not as good as coming off cycle. And I'm not sure if that has to do with the body temperature of the prostate and the seminal vesicles around it, or actual testosterone synthesis. It's, you know, that it remains to be determined. But what I do know is if you want to have perfect semen parameters, you need to come off cycle and make sure you have plenty of antioxidants in place. Any updates on one of your affiliates making a higher dose SLU product? I know Modern Aminos is working on that, so subscribe to their newsletter. Go to their website, subscribe to their newsletter, and then they will probably keep you up to date as soon as it launches, you know, and then make sure you use my code, so I can get a little kickback. Much appreciated. And then I can spend it on private school for my daughter. Shit ain't cheap, you know? Sorry, Steve, I can't find your other gyno video after 2-week one. Did you make one after that? I think I had right after the surgery and then 1 month post-surgery. And then I'll do one more follow-up, but I'm lean enough. So you can actually see the difference between the what is it called? The liposuction. But right now I'm not lean enough. I had a little setback when my mom came. So right now I'm almost as lean as when my mom came. And then, of course, I went on like a 3-week holiday hiatus, trained 2 times a week. And it wasn't like day. It's like chest and chest. And had a little bit too much wine and cigars and Thai food and Italian food and steaks. And so I had a little setback, but now I'm back on the grind. So hopefully, I don't know, November time or something, December time, I'll start looking good, and then we'll do another update. But I think there's like 3 or 4 videos in that gyno series, maybe 2 pre-surgery and 2 post-surgery. I don't know, type in gyno, I'm sure you'll get plenty of videos. No. What's your video on Cialis and methylene blue combo? I don't think I discussed Cialis in the methylene blue video, only in the not in the context of serotonin syndrome, but in the context of nitric oxide. So please watch it again. Please watch it again, and get one of those notepads and then write it down, so it sticks. You know. Pet capybara still on the Vigorous horizon. Yeah, I think capybara would be too high maintenance. Because they need a pool also, right? And then they get wet, and then you want to pet them, and then you get blubber all over you. So, we have 7 Sphinx cats, and once they're all passed away, so that's 12 years from now, so I'll be like 55. Then, if I still feel like it, I want to get a Savannah cat. No, a serval. So I want to get this one step below that. I want to get a serval and maybe a caracal, but I feel that servals are a little bit more loving compared to caracals. So, yeah. I want one serval. It will last 25 years, I think. Serval age. 20 years. 20 years. Yeah, so I'll be 75 by the time they pass away, and then I think that's a nice age to kind of, be done with all the bullshit, and then I'll just play video games. Bengal, no man. I have Sphinx cats. Bengal has hair. I don't like hair, but for the Savannah, the serval, I'm gonna make an exception. Hey Steve, I aromatized just looking at tests. EQ got my hematocrit too high as a result. My bilirubin is also very high. No access to high quality Primo. What should I run for clean off-season gains? Well, you can control your hematocrit with methylene blue and telmisartan. Bilirubin you can remove by taking calcium deglucarate, because glucuronidation of bilirubin, you have the direct and total bilirubin, right? And that the conjugated bilirubin is part of that. So, and that gets excreted in stool. And if you want to not reabsorb that, you need to eat a good amount of fiber. So it sounds to me that you have some room for improvement, and you could still run test in EQ at effective dosages. But if you eat a little bit better and you take some supplements, then you should be fine. And otherwise, test in DECA and you take an aromatase inhibitor. It's not the end of the world. I made videos on that too. And people who say that aromatase inhibitors are the devil themselves. Intelligent use, man. Yeah, bone mineral loss. Okay, bitch. Sure. Quote me the study. Oh! You mean the study in postmenopausal women with breast cancer that already had low estradiol and then taken aromatase inhibitor to crush their estradiol to 0? You mean bone mineral density in that context? Yeah. Okay. All right. Go stand in the corner of the room. Rob Kerr, I got a partial torn pectoralis major 2 months ago. Not going for surgery. Going back to the gym on Monday. Go easy on the chest. Go for enclomiphene with some peptides. Which one? Enclomiphene sides? Well, you came to the wrong address, bro. I don't like enclomiphene. And why don't you get it surgically fixed? Because you should have done that 2 months ago. Right now it's healed partially. Enclomiphene is not sustainable. Just read the scientific evidence. And your testosterone levels will never be as high as going on TRT plus. So TRT plus with the peptides, whatever peptides you want to run. Like you're asking me what kind of peptides? So growth hormone secretagogues, mitochondrial peptides, healing peptides. There's a million of them. So I think you need to do a little bit more research, bro. Because your question is this broad. All right. Also the third time. Luca, stop spamming. Stop spamming or get out indefinitely. Hey Steve, got my wife on a peptide train using glow 50 milligrams GHK copper, 5 milligrams TB500, 5 milligrams BPC, reckon 3 milliliters back to her static water. I usually can only fit like 2.5 milliliters in those vials, but if you can fit 3 milliliters in, then go for it. Doing 2.3 milligrams daily of the GHK copper, I'm assuming, and then the rest is half a milligram TB500 and BPC 157. Any idea if it helps with cramp and periods? No, I don't think so. But the copper, since you're increasing copper intake, the period might be heavier. I do know from copper IUDs, my wife had a copper IUD, not a hormonal one, for many years. It's an intrauterine device for the people who are not in the know. So she had a copper IUD, and that copper released a tiny amount of copper in the uterus. And the periods were like twice as heavy. Now, she didn't get any cramps. My wife's a bit of a trooper that way. She can take a lot of, she can tolerate a lot of pain. She was like, she had her first contraction. Her blood pressure is like 180 over 140, which is insane. And they're asking her, how do you feel? She's like, yeah, I feel fine. So we better take you into a C-section because you're going to get a fucking aneurysm or brain bleeding if you keep this up. Anyway, so she didn't really have much of a negative effect from a copper IOD. She ran GHK copper as well. I don't think that her period got heavy at that time, but I can't remember if she used GHK copper at the same time that she had the copper IOD because it's been years. I know, there's only one way to find out, man. The copper might make the period heavier, but then the TB500, the BPC 157 might lower the inflammation around the uterus and reduce cramping or discomfort. So I don't know. Go try and report back to us. Johnny, I tried HCG to boost my testosterone as you suggested. My levels rose from 300 to 450 after increasing from 500 to 1500 IOs 3 times weekly, but the increase was sad. Yeah, that's not much. Most guys would end up at like 800 to 1200 nanograms per deciliter. Do I need to try enclomiphene before? No. No, because HCG at 1500 IOs will give you more of a response than a marginal increase in LH and FSH that you get from enclomiphene. So no, man, drop down to 500 IOs HCG, then your testosterone will from the HCG will be what, 350 or something, and then 50 milligrams testosterone antidote Monday, Wednesday, Friday with 500 IOs HCG, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, in between those testosterone shots will get you to 1,000. And then 4 weeks into it, again, check your serum estradiol levels to see how much of an aromatase inhibitor you use. And if you don't know, come back and I'll tell you. I'm relatively new to PEDs and your channel. Just got done watching all of the old Barbros episodes. Great stuff. I know you guys didn't end on good terms. Yeah, it's all in hindsight, man. It's whatever happened, happened. What happened between you and Derek? Long story short, Leo disappeared for 2 weeks. We frantically tried to look for him, contacting people in LA to actually go to his house because Derek obviously has his address because Leo was a Gorilla Mind affiliate also. So we, after 2 weeks of not hearing from him, he was MIA. We wanted to send some people to his house, and then he came back, with an apology and a story of what happened. He had some relationship troubles. I pulled him aside at that time, said, hey, if you want to talk, I'm always available. I wanted to be a good friend. And it's very important in situations like this that you don't fall back into old habits, because we knew that Leo used to be an alcoholic. He assured me and Derek that that was not happening. And then a couple months later, police report was leaked of, that his wife or ex-wife filed that he was drunk as fuck and, abusing his pets and abusing her verbally. And then that gave us a little bit of sour taste in our mouth. So we distanced ourselves from Leo, waiting for an explanation, which never came. And then, a couple months later, he ended up in Portugal or Thailand here with Tony. And then he gave an explanation that the police report was all lies and this and that. But it was, if you read through that police report, it was exactly how he talked, especially when he was angry. So me and Derek were a little bit taken back from that, but we gave him ample opportunity to explain himself, but that explanation never came. And then he came to Thailand and started hanging out all my dirty laundry to people that I know here personally. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, ranting about me, talking about me. Like, me and Leo had a private discussion about fluvoxamine, right? I didn't want to tell people that yet because I wanted to have more experience with fluvoxamine. So the reason why the fluvoxamine video is online is because Leo started telling everybody that I was mentally unstable and needed fluvoxamine. Even though I started using it on his recommendation. So it's like, oh, fuck it. Okay, if you want to play it that way, I'll just make a video, then everybody knows. Fuck you, asshole. And then, well, through whatever the fuck happened, he ended up passing away. Was he murdered? We don't know. That was never revealed. So we don't know. No, but we didn't end on good terms. I would have loved to sit down and talk with him. Talk things over. I don't think that would have been a pleasant conversation, but yeah, he passed away before that ever happened. He sent one message or two messages to Derek, which I don't think he ever read because he was just like, whatever, dude. You had your chance to explain yourself, and it just got from bad to worse to fucking terrible. And at one point, you're like, just over it, So me and Derek were over it. We did one episode of Bio Bros with Alec Petrovsky, which was delayed for 3 months because Leo passed away. So that was actually recorded like a week before he passed away. And then we wanted to post it. He passed away, and then we decided to hold that episode until things cooled over a little bit. But it turned into such a fucking shit show that, well, you guys know the story. So yeah, I haven't heard that name in a long time. But Leo Longevity and Laith El Gaz were, in my opinion, totally opposite people. And Leo was a great guy, but Laith, I don't know, somebody else. All right, let's move on. Adam Lowe. Hey, Steve, DHA sulfate low normal and progesterone bottomed out on 200 milligrams TRT. Likely low pregnenolone. Yeah, that's very likely. Should I add in pregnenolone 100 milligrams and DHA 50 milligrams per day? No, you can add in 10 milligrams pregnenolone or 25 milligrams pregnenolone. Don't have to go straight to 100 milligrams. That's for old people. I don't think you're that old. Not by the way you talk. Have anxiety and low motivation. Yeah, so I would start with maybe 10 milligrams pregnenolone split morning and evening, and 25 milligrams DHA split morning and evening. See which dosing protocol is the best for you, what enhances your sleep, your cognition, if you get any weird aromatization, because pregnenolone and DHA obviously convert into testosterone, and then you get increased aromatization before increasing the dose. And if you have anxiety and low motivation, that might not be coming from DHEA, but pregnenolone and DHA have a calming effect. And you might get a little bit of dopaminergic signaling, but, it is not always the case. So, yeah, you could try it, but you might not fix it. Recent blood test hematocrit was 55.1%. Will be dropping my dose from 262.5 milligrams testosterone per week to 200 milligrams per week. Will be enough to get my hematocrit in range. I always struggled with high hematocrit. Do a sleep study, get a CPAP machine, and next time go and hydrate it, because it's very likely that you have sleep apnea, and it's very likely that you went and dehydrated. Now, it's a good idea to drop to 200 milligrams test per week, but it will still take 90 days to 120 days for your hematocrit to drop, because red blood cell count or red blood cells have a 90 to 120 days, 100 days on average, active life. So if your hematocrit is 55.1%, your red blood cell count is pretty high, it will take 90 days to 120 days before it actually sees a significant reduction from the reduction of testosterone. You could speed that up with a therapeutic blood donation or going to the Red Cross and donating, assuming that your hemoglobin is in range, which, again, you can bring in range with proper hydration. But yeah, in the meantime, do a sleep study, get a CPAP machine. If you have a deviated septum, you can do surgery for that, so you can breathe easier, or get the nasal strips and opens up your nose. You can look like an elephant and suck in all the air, and then have a CPAP machine to push the air in. And yeah, and testosterone might help, but again, you will have a 90-day delay or maybe 120 days before hematocrit really drops. So water will be acute. Yeah, Big Jake says, drink more water. It is what it is. I can live with it. So, okay, no, enclomiphene, drop the peptides and get growth hormone 2 to 3 IUs. Add BPC and EGH frag for fat loss. What's your take? Yeah, so if you want to go with, the healing protocol first and just protect your chest, then TB500, BBC 157, GHK copper, testosterone, anavar, and growth hormone. And enclomiphene is just not going to make a difference in that protocol, but testosterone and anavar will. So that's what I would look into. It's if you tore your pec, but I would do some MRIs, man, do some surgery, because you might tear it more. Yeah, and growth hormone will help. But enclomiphene is the easy way out, man. Don't do it. Drink water and electrolytes all day long. I deal with chronic fatigue from a simple daily activities. I'm active and work a physical demanding job. What can I take to combat the fatigue? You need some mitochondrial peptides and a caloric surplus. SLU PP332. Start low, build your way up. Top out wherever you need. You can do any dose between 250 micrograms to 400 milligrams. Seems to be well tolerated. 1 milligram to 2 milligram BPC MOD-C, sorry. 1 milligram to 2 milligram MOD-C upon waking SubQ, 1 to 2 milligrams SS31 upon waking SubQ, 5 to 10 milligrams methylene blue upon waking orally. You don't have to inject that. You might as well get a blue tattoo. And then eating a good amount of carbs to keep the Krebs cycle going, man. Because otherwise, you're just going to lose fat and not have that much energy. I have a lot of energy right now, but obviously, if I eat a lot of carbs, then I'm good. All right, guys, it's like 2:20, so we're going to cut off the super chats. Let me see, where's the banner? There you go. And then a few more questions. And then we're going to close it off because I'm getting sleepy as fuck. 225 milligrams testosterone, 20 milligrams anavar, 75 milligrams tren, 2 weeks, no side effects on the tren, any noticeable gains, increased tren to 100. Dude, it's been 2 weeks, man. Give it like 6 weeks before you increase. Come on. Come on, man. Be patient. Trading is not for you. Talking about trading, look, fuck. It's tanking again. Well, if it hits my stop loss, it hits. I would give it until you max out on this protocol, man, and then you can increase. No need to rush into it. How tall are you? 5'9", 175 centimeters, 230 pounds. Boobas that bounce. Yes. Rare. Does height and weight have an effect on your testosterone dosages, or is it individual response to steroids? I mean, your weight, obviously, like if you go on 200 test, your serum concentrations are going to be different if you're 200 pounds versus 400 pounds. So people generally who are heavier, have more muscle mass or different metabolic rate, might have different serum levels. And again, not everybody responds the same to serum levels as other people. That depends on androgen receptor sensitivity, what else you're doing, right? People always go with serum levels, but it's just one part of the picture. So you start somewhere, you do your blood work, you assess how you respond, you see how you feel, if you get a beneficial effect. Maybe it's too high for you, you get anxiety, you can't sleep, you're sweating, your sleep apnea gets worse. Okay, the dose is too high, you drop it a little bit. And otherwise, if it doesn't make a difference, you increase. Assuming that your blood work parameters don't really change that much. So start somewhere, do your blood work, adjust, make the changes, and then until you're sweet. That's the fun of doing steroids. All right, let's see. Let's see. 5'9", but 6'9" when standing on money. Well, I mean, a cold storage is about half a centimeter thick, so I don't get much. And you can store limited funds in there, right? All right, guys, I think it's time to throw in the towel. Yeah, I'm getting sleepy. All right, guys, enjoy the Vigorous Q&A. It's weekly now, or most of the weeks. So we're just going to be here back every week. I'll start posting the thread in the member section. So you guys that can make it here can post your questions in advance. Obviously, we have about 150 members. So if you post 20 questions, I'm only going to answer one of them. And enjoy the Mr. Olympia weekend. I'll be going to bed. And then when I wake up, hopefully Nick is Mr. Olympia, but I don't think so. Based on how he looked, it's probably going to be Derek. But let's see. Anything can happen, man. You never know what happens Saturday night. So we'll see you guys next weekend. Enjoy yourself. I'll try my best to modify the studio a little bit so I don't look green. And then we go right back to the beautiful lighting setup and the blue bald head and all the good stuff. All right, guys, enjoy yourself. We'll see you next week. And make sure you get your cheesecakes in because that SLU has to be put to work. See you later.